Hello, Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network listeners. I am Jeff Hawkins, co-host of Shake Them Ropes, with a very special announcement. If it's been a while or you've never listened to us before, the original gang is back. Myself and Rob McCarran, back talking wrestling. We have no idea where this show's going to go, where we're going to keep any of the old bits or any of the old things in there. It's going to be a process. It's going to be a journey, and we'd like for you to come along with us. Only on Shake Them Ropes on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope, she bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
What do you guys want to talk about?
You are listening to the Flagship Podcast with your hosts, Joe Lanza.
What has being annoying stopped you ever?
That's an excellent point. Right. An excellent point. That's part of the charm.
Rich Crage.
Corey Graves screaming, perfectly legal, Cole. You can do anything you want in Tribal Combat. It's perfectly legal. While Paul Heyman is just yelling, Tribal Combat, Tribal Combat, Tribal Combat, Tribal Combat, Tribal Combat. I'm like, God damn it. Fuck all of you. Fuck this.
And we are live on the Flagship Podcast. I am Rich, and he is Joe. Joe, did you get that burp out? Everything feel good in there?
What are you talking about?
No, everybody heard you burp, so.
Well, it's not healthy to retain gas.
That's true. You are being a healthy person by doing that. Good for you. Good retort. Good retort for the burp.
That's right.
You don't want to keep that in there. It could be deadly.
No.
Especially
that's
at your
right.
age. Especially at your age. You got to be careful with that.
At my age.
I don't know if that's actually true. I don't know if keeping in gas at an advanced age like you is more damaging than if you're like 17 years old or whatever. But
you know nothing of my age.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I kind of know your age.
Nobody knows my birthday. These are all
I don't know your
secret
birthday.
things.
That is legit. I kind of sort of know your age, although if you put a gun to my head, I might get it wrong. And I have no idea your birthday. It could be your birthday literally today, and I would have no idea. I have no idea. I think about that a lot. Of like, I've been doing this podcast because I think once the nurse was like, "Oh, when's Joe's birthday?" and I was like, I honestly have no earthly idea. She's like, "How old is Joe?" And I'm like, "I think like X." She's like, "What do you mean you
have a range?
Like, I don't know.
You have a range.
I'm like, I have a rough idea.
And
she was like, "Well, do you have a rough idea when his birthday is?" I was like, "No, it could be January 2nd, it could be August 8th, it could be September 10th. I have no fucking idea when your birthday is. Fall, winter, I don't even know season. Nothing. I know nothing of your birthday.
Well, though I strike you as the kind of guy who's going to be like, hey guys, it's my B-day.
No, no, you strike me as similar to what I like to do these days, where I just hope that nobody knows it's my birthday. Like at work, it's just, I dread it. And one guy knows, and him and I know his birthday. We both make eye contact on our birthdays, and we know it's each other's birthdays. And he says, the I say, don't tell anybody. And I say, don't worry, I'm not going to tell anybody. Although recently we moved to a new system. We moved to like Paylocity or something like that. And if you go to check your pay stub on Paylocity, it says like, da-da-da, has a birthday today. Say happy birthday. So that first year, some random ass dude walked up. He was like, hey, happy birthday. And I was like, how did you know? And I was like, did you tell me? Did you tell him? And I looked at it. And he's like, no, I didn't tell anybody. And I was like, okay. It's from frickin' Paylocity. Wish blank, blank, blank a happy birthday. No.
Yeah.
I will not be wishing blank blank a happy birthday.
It's if I ever have a Wikipedia page, I'm gonna have one of those that has like an approximate year only. Like they'll take a stab at the year.
Approximately 1978.
Yeah, right.
Question mark.
Right. That'll be it.
Needs citation with a little question mark.
Yeah. It'll have a little one in brackets.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. No. Well, here's the thing. The thing about it is nobody gives a fuck when your birthday is. So why would I share that information? No one really cares. So what does it matter? You know, I could be one of these guys. It's like, hey guys, it's my B-day. Everyone send me their wish. I don't give a shit. You know, that's and I'm the kind of guy who would handle it that way. So it's very understandable, I think, that you have no clue when my birthday is.
No, yeah.
It's never been
also,
even whispered once on this show.
Do you know when my birthday is? I don't think you know when my birthday is either.
No idea.
No, that's fine.
Although you haven't kept yours a secret. I gotta be honest there.
You don't remember.
Bubba. I don't pay attention.
It's not on your calendar. Go to the kitchen. Is it on your calendar? Maybe you can check and make sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know any of my friends' birthdays. None. So don't feel bad. I don't know any of my friends.
There's a few that I know, and only because, like, there's one or two that I know because I grew up with them, and, like, when you're kids, you know when people's birthdays are because it was cool to, hang out and, go to a birthday party. It's not cool anymore, obviously. But
not cool anymore, obviously.
It's really not. I mean,
to celebrate birthdays with my friends. Not cool at all.
It's really not, though. It's really not. Because you feel so obligated. They're like, oh, we're going out for my birthday. And you're like, you got to go if they say that, right? Like, you can't ditch them for that. Well, yeah, you probably would say no, but I feel like it's not just like a normal hangout. It feels like an obligation to go, it's your birthday. All right, so we should probably go hang out then. But a few of them I've had to put like little Google Calendar reminders for, just to, give them a nice. Because I could tell some of them do appreciate the little text message and little check-in, but I don't know when their birthdays are. So I make sure to put it in the Google Calendar at least for a couple people. But yeah, by and large, I don't know anybody's birthday.
I know one person's birthday only because it happens to be on Valentine's Day. So you can't forget that one.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay.
Yeah, he's single. It'd be great, like, if he was married, because then he has to, like, she's forced to share the day.
Oh my God, yeah. What a day.
That's but then again, I mean, just give her the day, man.
Just buy her the
frickin'
go to 1-800-Flowers, get her the
flowers,
box of chocolates, get her the frickin' teddy bear, call it a day.
Go get the flowers and the Whitman sampler and call it a day. Let's go.
Right. The Whitman sampler. Hopefully this isn't the one that tastes like yogurt. That is. All right. Oh, here's the toothpaste one. It's deplorable.
No.
Sampler is awful.
No, hun. This is the box that tells you what flavors are in there on the little piece of paper inside.
You know which one has toothpaste in it.
This one was $24.99, not $21.99. Okay, so I spared no expense for my honey. Yeah, could you imagine coming home with a Whitman sampler? See, here's the thing. I could probably get away with that because she's just the sweetest thing, but she would be disappointed on the inside. You know what I mean? She would never outwardly complain about the Whitman sampler, and then she would eat the fuck out of it and thank me relentlessly, but she would be very sad on the inside.
She would just think, like, come on, of all the options, and that aisle is filled with different options on chocolate boxes. How did you end up with the Whitman sampler? How?
Now, if you come home with a Whitman sampler, you're going to get cursed up and down the street.
Yeah, I'm sitting in the car, yeah.
Yeah, you're finished. You're the mouth on her. She's like a sailor. So you'd get annihilated if you came home with a Whitman sampler. Unless you were down on your luck, it's maybe she'd be a little more reasonable then. Maybe. No.
Let's see. No, probably not.
Okay.
I'd have to think about it, but probably not. No.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Well, nothing wrong with a Whitman sampler, I say.
Yeah.
Chocolate's chocolate.
That's fine.
Yeah. Just can't come home with one of those novelty $1 hearts with like 3 chocolates in it for kids, like from CVS.
Right.
That might be pushing it a little.
That might be pushing it, yeah.
You can at least spring for the Whitman sampler.
Right. It's got like Skittles in it. It's got like a fun-sized bag of Skittles in it. It's just like, here you go.
Yeah, it's like a heart-shaped box of chocolate.
I know the one you're talking about, yeah.
It only has 3 chocolates, and it usually has a character from like
line. Yeah, it's got like Mickey on it, or something
Monsters
like
Inc. character or something,
right.
or it has like Mr. Incredible or something on it, and it says "I choose you," and he's like flying through the air, like something like that. Yeah, it comes like 3 little pieces of candy. Yeah, that gimmick. That's actually what TLB gets for me. That's what I get. I get the little novelty box of chocolate.
But you're not a chocolate guy. You're not a sweet guy, so you don't care.
Yeah, don't give me anything. I'm that annoying guy. Don't give me nothing for nothing.
I am so much that person, and it drives everybody in my life up a wall. I don't understand why. I feel like it should be easy.
I don't either.
Nobody listens. I say, don't give me anything. I don't want anything.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed to get stuff at the age I'm at. Like, if I need something, I'll buy it, and I don't want anything, so just don't give me anything. And sometimes, occasionally, I'll get like a heartfelt gift or whatever. But for the most part, it's just like, oh, well, here you go. You're like, I didn't know what to get you, and I know you didn't know what to get me. Then don't give me anything. I don't care.
Yeah,
it's fine. I think
you didn't know what to get me because I don't want nothing.
Yeah,
that's
right.
why you don't know what to get me. That's how I see it. I
do think the baby's going to be a little bit easier because now I could just say, I just get something for him or do whatever, because I think that might get me off the hook. I'm hoping.
Nope, doesn't work.
Damn it.
I have always, even at a young age, almost been embarrassed to get gifts. And there's probably some psychological thing there that I've never investigated and never will. But there's probably some reason that a therapist can break down or something why I've never been comfortable receiving gifts.
No, I feel like apologetic about it. I feel bad that somebody got me something, which, again,
and
like you said, a therapist should
people
probably
watching
break this down.
People watching me open it, I'm like embarrassed. Like, what is this? I don't want any attention. This is not good.
Joe Lanza doesn't want attention.
It's true. It's true. I don't try flashy cars. I don't like getting gifts. I don't like going to parties. I really don't seek attention. I'm not an attention seeker. I'm not doing a bit. I'm quiet socially. You'd be shocked. I'm a loudmouth here. I am very quiet socially.
Behind your keyboard. You're a loudmouth behind your keyboard is what I'm hearing.
Am I?
Well, I'm just saying,
okay.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Keyboard warrior over there, Joe Lanza.
Very abrasive on the keyboard. Very abrasive. Pounding the keyboard.
Well, speaking of people being called keyboard warriors, a lot of content. FlagshipPatreon.com this week. It was an insane week of content, and it's going to be an insane week of content next week as well. So the segue there would be the Tony Khan interview on The Coach and Bro, which I'm very glad that you did, because I had perverse interest in watching or listening to Tony Khan's appearance on The Coach and Bro, which I God only knows how long it took them to come up with that name, Jonathan Coachman and Vince Russo's podcast. And thankfully, I did not have to, and that is, I think, what we've heard from a number of people that subscribe to FlagshipPatreon.com is you breaking down in 56 minutes everything that was said on the podcast and the performance of Jonathan Coachman, the performance of Vince Russo, and the performance of Tony Khan, and all that interview. Very glad. Now, how long was the actual podcast itself? Did I actually save any time by listening to you, or would it have been better just to listen to the show itself? I feel like, didn't they only go an hour?
It's about the same length.
Okay, so it's about the same length. So I saved no time, but at least I saved the headache from not listening to The Coach and Bro and instead listening to the Intelligentsia, the return of the Intelligentsia. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so full breakdown of that interview if you're conflicted and don't want to give them the hits, which would be understandable. Look, it wasn't the worst Tony Khan interview I've ever heard. It wasn't close to the best. They couldn't stop patting themselves on the back and putting themselves over, both during and after the interview. Jonathan Coachman, I have to tell you, is just, that man has both the biggest ego and is also the most deeply insecure person all at the same time. And I don't know how he pulls that off. Just constantly, like, Russo wasn't annoying at all. I mean, Russo was perfectly fine. I have to say, like, when it comes to Vince Russo, and this might blow you away, I would sit down and watch a baseball game with that guy. I think he has horrible wrestling ideas, and I think he's the worst wrestling booker I've ever seen, and all of those things. But he doesn't seem like a bad guy. Like, we're both Northeastern fucking Italians. I think we could sit down and watch a ball game. I wouldn't spend 30 seconds in a room with Jonathan.
No.
He just comes. You know what he is?
With
He's
his backwards ruse hat on, and he's just talking. Yeah.
Jonathan Coachman is the classic guy that swears he's smart that is an actual idiot, and that's what he is. And he's just a buffoon, and just this overinflated ego. He has to constantly remind you over and over during the interview that we're pros that have been in the biz for 20 years, unlike the dirt sheet writers and all of the amateurs, and we're asking the hard-hitting questions. He actually said to Tony Khan at one point, while they're asking him questions, he goes, "Tony, you're getting a master's class today in wrestling knowledge." Does this guy hear himself? They're telling Tony Khan he's getting a master's class in wrestling knowledge when Tony Khan has a $500 million television contract.
And has been running a wrestling company since 2019. Like, when are we going to grow up here and realize this company has been alive for a while? They still pretend like he's some fledgling indie promoter that's just trying to make it. He's been in business since 2019, and he's a solvent, and he's making money.
Wildly successful.
What are we doing? It's so weird. We're still treating him like that. Hey, Tony, listen up to some people who have been in the biz talking about it. Like, bro, he's been in the business since 2019, running a very successful wrestling business. Very, very, very successful.
They talk down to him like he's a child through the whole interview. Like he's this struggling upstart who hasn't figured it out yet, who needs the sage advice of a booker who's failed at every job he's ever had. Every single one.
Yeah, he's had one job one time for 2 years where he was pretty good at it, and then he's failed.
Oh, hold on. Everything was filtered through Vince.
Correct.
I mean, and then, ever since he left that job, he's failed at a half a dozen times at booking pro wrestling. And another guy who was a television interviewer whose claim to fame is getting made fun of and being called a hermaphrodite by The Rock.
Whoa, sir! That was Kevin Kelly. That was the hermaphrodite.
It doesn't matter.
No, it does. It doesn't.
No,
it doesn't matter what your name.
It doesn't matter what his name was. It doesn't matter. So it's like this is who's giving the master's class to a guy who has a $500 million television contract. And Tony was so polite. He's just sitting there with that big smile on his face, grinning through it because he knows. He knows. Coach actually thought that Vince Russo was telling Tony Khan something when Tony Khan has a $500 million contract in a wildly successful and profitable company, and Vince Russo is booking Juggalo championship wrestling. But Vince is giving Tony the master's class. I think Tony should start listening. Vince should start listening to Tony and taking some tips from him. I mean, it's preposterous, the egos on these two men, but especially Coachman. Coachman, you want to choke him. When you watch this thing, you want to choke them.
Right, a guy who was like an interviewer, and then when they stopped using him as an interviewer, he was a heel character on the show for like a year and a half or 2 years, and then he was gone.
I mean, there's probably things that Tony Khan and Vince Russo can relate to with each other because Vince did do the job.
Sure. Yes.
He did do the job. He has dealt with wrestling personalities.
Right, managing the egos, formatting a show, figuring out, how to week-to-week episodic television for sure. But yeah, Jonathan Coachman, it's like, my guest at this time, The Rock, fuck you, you suck. All right, back to you, Jim Ross. That's it.
There's quite literally not a single thing that Jonathan Coachman can teach Tony Khan about the wrestling business. Not one thing. So yeah, Coachman is just delusional, and he's the same way on his Twitter feed. He's a guy who knows nothing. He has no historical context of anything. And he acts as though these. And the other thing that they do is they're constantly talking about all the hard hitting questions that they ask that the amateurs and the dirt sheet writers would never dare to ask. Rich, it was the same interview Tony Khan always gets.
Right, it sounded like it, yeah.
It was the same exact questions. It was the same exact interview he always does. Tony gave the same boilerplate answers to a lot of the questions that you've heard him give a million times. How many times have you heard Tony give the Ghostbusters anecdote to the how many people do you have in the room question? It's all the same shit that you always hear from Tony Khan. And these guys had the nerve after it was over to try to put over the idea that they got more out of Tony Khan than anyone ever has. They really didn't. I mean, they got nothing new out of him. If you watch this interview, you learn nothing about Tony Khan, and you learn nothing about AEW that you didn't already know. You don't get one. The only thing, okay, two little nuggets. You get the Jericho stuff and how that negotiation went down, and you get Tony commenting on the bid that he put in on WWE, which was honestly the most interesting thing in the interview, where it's the first time that Tony started to talk slow and think about his words. So that's how you know it was the first interesting question.
Right, he wasn't in cruise control for those two questions.
Well, for the WWE question.
Right,
he knew how to answer the Jericho question, but it was information we didn't know yet. But the WWE bid, he strongly hinted that he wasn't pleased with the process of the sale and maybe thought it was these are my words, not his, a little dirty maybe. Didn't get a fair shot at it. But it's like he wanted to say that but couldn't. That's the impression I got. But maybe go listen to that answer and assess for yourself. But, it was just a boilerplate Tony Khan interview, nothing special. And then in the aftermath, these guys were just patting themselves on the back, talking about how great it was and how nobody else could do the job that they did because they're professionals who have been in the business for 20 years. And then they revealed that they had a format sheet of questions that that they had to ask him. And they were just going down the list and asking their formatted questions, which, and Coachman was over fixated on making sure Tony Khan was looking directly into his camera because that's what's important. Tony, could you do me a favor? Just one more time. Try to look directly into that. Like 3 times he told it. No one gives a shit.
Also, most people are probably not watching it. They're probably just listening to it in the background.
Yeah. So, but Coachman is just, oh my God, man is delusional. Man, the takeaways are you learn nothing new. And Jonathan Coachman is annoying and delusional. Those are the takeaways. And Vince Russo wasn't annoying at all. I mean, Russo was fine. Other than his Tony, I'm going to throw you a softball, but then I'm going to throw you high heat at your head. I'm going to throw you a fastball, so you better be ready for it. And then you're waiting for some like crazy question. And it's just like, tell us about having EVPs in the company and how that all works. It's like the same shit that you've heard a million times. But yeah, these alleged fastballs that he was throwing at Tony's head. Anyway, so $5 tier if you want to hear a 56-minute breakdown of the Coach and Bro interviewing Tony Khan.
Yeah, there you go. So that was there. Also on the $5 tier this week, bunch of stuff that we're going to get to a little bit later in the show. WrestleMania weekend previews. Myself and Griffin Peltier went through every single show going on this WrestleMania weekend. Every single show, and I mean every show, everyone, 80-plus shows going on this weekend. Do not worry, Joe, not all of them are streaming, though. We are going to have a maybe an on-air production meeting here in a minute to try to figure out what content we're going to do next week as we're covering WrestleMania weekend. But I also did a WrestleMania weekend preview with John Carroll of Wrestling Omakase, and myself and John, we went through all of the Puro and Joshi representation going on during this WrestleMania weekend. So all the actual shows going on, Tokyo Joshi Pro, Stardom, Marvelous, Dragon Gate, that sort of stuff. And then also representation like different wrestlers, from the Japanese scene that are going to be out and about and in the different on the different shows throughout the weekend as well. So there's 2 big previews for you. Those are both available. I said $5 tier. Those are actually available to all members. So that's actually something we did a lot this week. That free. You could just go to flagshippatreon.com, sign up for our free tier. Yes, we have a free tier, and you're going to get content. You're going to get the 2 weekend previews, like I said, the Puro and Joshi preview with John of Wrestling Omakase, the one of myself and Griffin Peltier covering everything going on WrestleMania weekend. So both those are over 2 hours, 2.5 hours on the Puro and Joshi, 2+ hours myself and Griffin, and then also this week for free the Thursday Dynamite review. So and you do it every single week. Obviously, the Thursday Dynamite review covering AEW Dynamite, reviewing that show every single week. This week's was free, just to kind of give people a sample of what they can get usually on a Thursday basis, a week-by-week basis. And it was a pretty good episode of Dynamite. So fun little review. Thursday Dynamite review, again, Pro Wrestling 101, available to all members of flagshippatreon.com. So just sign up, even if it's for the free tier, and you can listen to that show. You can listen to the WrestleMania weekend previews, and you can listen to some stuff here and there. But as we're going to mention here in a bit, you're probably going to want to upgrade, and this is the week where you're going to want to upgrade. This month and these next couple weeks, man, it is a loaded week of content coming up. But
and also no flagship next week.
No.
So, but the thing is, we're going to have just mountains of content for like the next 10 days. So you're going to want to at least get on that free tier on the Patreon, but probably you're going to want to be on the $5 or $10. The $10, because I'm sure there's going to be live content in there in the mix that you're going to miss if you're not on it. But there's no flagship next week because Rich will be in Las Vegas for WrestleMania week. Can't even call it weekend anymore at this point. And but everything else that we do normally, there'll still be a Dynamite review on Wednesday, and of course there'll be the mountains of WrestleMania week coverage, which if you look in our archives, basically do at least one WrestleMania week show a day, covering the events of the day and doing show reviews. There literally is not another wrestling site on the planet that covers WrestleMania week as intently as we do.
No.
We legitimately try to review everything. You can't get to everything. That's impossible now. There's way too many shows. but with Rich there live and me camped out in the den on 1,000 different streaming services, just watching everything that Rich doesn't attend live, you're going to get stuff from me. You're going to get stuff from Rich. Who knows? You might get stuff with both of us. You'll definitely get stuff with both of us when it comes time for WrestleMania night 1 and 2. I'm sure we'll do instant reaction lives for both of those shows. So there's just going to be so much content next week for WrestleMania week alone, let alone all the regular Thursday Dynamite reviews. I already have a Flagship Plus planned maybe for when we end this show tonight. I'm going to be recording into the fucking wee hours because this is such a packed show with so much stuff that we're probably not going to get to it all.
Yeah.
There's more than likely going to be an overrun to this Flagship. And then after that, I think I'm doing a Flagship Plus at some point. There's going to be a Flagship Plus hitting the feed at some point in the next 32 hours or so for sure, because I have to get it out before Rebellion, because it's going to have a Rebellion preview on it. And then whatever the overrun of this Flagship, just forget it. The next
so
10
much.
days,
it's a lot.
There's just going to be so much content, and this is not just a sales pitch. It is a sales pitch, but it's also the reality. I mean, you got to at least get on that free tier, and if you get on the free tier, you're going to get all that content that Rich just talked about. And then, if you're so inclined and want all of the shit that we're going to do over the next 10 days, bump it up to the 5 and 10. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, of course, the hallmark of that is going to be this weekend, Dynasty. We're going to do Instant Reaction Live after Dynasty. We'll talk about that here in a little bit and preview that.
I forgot about that. Instant Reaction Dynasty
AEW Dynasty
is
this Sunday, which is like unbelievable. It just kind of snuck up on me and I think on everybody as well. And it's a hell of a show and a hell of a card. We're going to preview it later in this show. But yeah, we'll go live immediately following that show on Sunday. So that is, of course, on the $10 tier. And then, of course, next weekend, we're going live after both nights of WrestleMania too. So I'll be back in town.
At least 3 Instant Reaction Lives over the next 10 days, at least. Who knows what else? Because WrestleMania week, who knows? It's just we kind of just play it by ear. We generally just do our own shows at the end of each day. You hit the Airbnb and hit record. At the end of the night. I mean, there was times last year where I was running downstairs to review the shit that I watched during the day, and I'm hurrying and rushing to finish it before like a midnight show starts.
Yeah.
To go watch that and then review it in the morning. So we really do try to review everything, good, bad, and ugly. Most of it's bad and ugly. And,
yeah, you're in for one this year. I'll tell you that. We can do a little bit of an on-air production meeting now if you want. Just to let you know, I will jot down what I think you're gonna have to watch or what I'll be at, and we can kind of figure out.
Do you have a visual schedule I could look at?
I do.
When you do that?
I do. Let me. What's the best way to send this to you? Let's see. What chat?
Slack.
Yeah. Let's do the old Slackaroo
Use the
here.
Slack. The office Slack.
Yeah. We sound so professional.
Yeah.
That's like. There'll be occasional times where someone will be like, "Oh, you should fire that guy from Voices of Wrestling." I'm like, fire somebody? What are you talking about?
All right,
I'm gonna go, "Hey, Suit Williams, turn in your key." Like you're not like what? What do you think this is?
Clean out your desk. Right. Go talk to Susie in HR.
Yeah, right. Like they think we rent like office space. We have a fucking tower somewhere, and it's like. Tell Suit he can't use the executive bathroom anymore, and he's got to sign out by 5. It's like, what are you talking about? Fire someone. What are you doing?
John Carroll doesn't deserve the speech. That was my favorite one.
Oh, that's
we still don't know what that one means, but it was sent to us. John Carroll doesn't deserve the speech, which we still don't know what that one means.
Yeah. Well, Okay. So I have now, I believe you are the anonymous Nyan cat that is looking at this spreadsheet right now. So I've done you a favor and I've eliminated everything that's not streaming. So there you go. See how I opened that? There's a shit ton of stuff not streaming. Okay.
Oh,
you see that? Yeah. A lot of stuff. We don't have to worry about that though, right?
We don't.
By the way, all this information is available at voicesofwrestling.com/mania26 if you want to follow along at home. All that is available. voicesofwrestling.com/mania26. And by the way, if you're going to Las Vegas, make sure you buy your tickets via that website. So if you haven't bought tickets yet, hell, if you haven't bought plane tickets yet, let me tell you, you should probably buy plane tickets at voicesofwrestling.com/mania26. And what I will definitely say you should do is absolutely 100% buy WrestleMania tickets on voicesofwrestling.com/mania26 as close to the ring as possible. You are going to want to be there to see QB1 and the Tribal Chief and all of your favorites. All
your favorites, such as QB1,
QB1, OTC. You know, I mean, you gotta get them all. So you gotta be there. You gotta be as close to the action as possible. So hell, I don't think Front Row is still available, but voiceswrestling.com /mania26 for you. So okay, Joe,
I've begun filling them in.
You have begun filling them in. So okay, so we're just gonna talk about what's streaming, so I can figure out what you're gonna be covering, and then we'll be talking about what I cover. So okay.
Whatever, yeah, I'm filling in whatever streaming and that you aren't going to.
Correct. Okay, so we're doing on-air production meetings. So the first streaming show that you are going to be able to watch is Wednesday at 3 p.m. on Triller TV Plus. Poder Mania, the Ed in San Antonio all women's wrestling show, which I'm surprised you put your name.
Oh, hold on a second. That's what that is?
Yes.
All right, hold on.
Right. Okay, there it is.
Poder Mania has been.
No, I thought it said Joe. I see. It says no.
No. It said Joe.
Oh. No,
because I didn't know what Poder Mania.
I was trying to give you a break here, buddy. I was trying to say I misread it. I was trying to say I misread it, not you.
Rich, I don't give a fuck what these people think of me. It originally said Joe, but I did not know what Poder Mania was. I did not realize it's an all-women's independent show, which sounds like absolute torture.
It's Ed in San Antonio's all-women's wrestling show.
Yeah, I'm going to pass, so we're going to start the weekend with the next...
okay, so now these are TBD on Coastal Championship Wrestling High Rollers and Colorado Wrestling Connection CWC versus the World. They normally stream on YouTube. They've said that they might stream on YouTube, but they haven't actually decided if they're streaming on YouTube.
I'm not watching anything, apparently.
No, maybe not. So put a question mark next to Coastal Championship Wrestling High Rollers and Colorado Wrestling Connection CWC versus the World.
So
maybe
Coastal Championship Wrestling High Rollers, Joe question mark. Colorado Wrestling Connection versus the World, Joe question mark.
Correct.
If they happen to be on YouTube, I will turn them on and review them. If they're not, I guess I'm waiting around till midnight.
Yeah, exactly. And then at midnight, unfortunately, you start off with Hybrid Wrestling, a Pro Wrestling Unplugged Midnight Express. It's a midnight show that's got about 15 fucking matches on it. So should I tell you what's on the show? Do you want to know, or would you like to be surprised?
I will look it up later, because if I do it now, I'm going to change that from Joe to no, I suspect.
Probably
so we'll just leave it. I got to watch something.
The
that's
best
Wednesday.
part, you know what? And I'm glad you said that, because the best part is there is a secret Jungle Boy match somewhere in this weekend, and you don't know where it is.
Ooh,
and I
don't know where it is.
And I cannot wait for the rage of Joe Lanza having a random Jungle Boy match thrown at him.
Am I accidentally going to get the Jack the Jungle Boy match? Is that going to happen?
Oh, you are.
We'll have to say, you're positive.
I'm positive you will. Yeah. So, okay. So your weekend will start, I guess, at Wednesday at midnight for hybrid.
Yeah.
Maybe. Hopefully, Coastal Championship Wrestling
on
and
YouTube.
Colorado Wrestling can hook us up here. So, okay. I'm going to Dragon Gate of the Sin City. That'll be on Triller TV Plus. So if you feel like you need to review it, you can. But I'll be there live.
So on Wednesday, I'll probably watch it because I want to watch that. Well, unless Colorado Wrestling Connection is happening, then I have to watch that and review it because it's at the same time. So on Wednesday, what the people are going to get, they're going to get Rich reviewing Dragon Gate from the Airbnb. Or are you getting a hotel? What are you doing?
Airbnb. Okay. So yeah, and I'll be at Pandemonium
Give us the
Pro.
Address of your Airbnb.
Yeah, sure. Come on in, do some podcasts. We'll talk. Yeah. Yes. I'll be at Pandemonium Pro. Now they're not streaming, so I'll be there at 3 and then at Dragon Gate at 8. So you'll get.
So Pandemonium Pro is not on the sheet.
Correct. They're not on that sheet, so you're gonna get that from me, and I can unlock the full sheet if you want, and maybe make it a little bit easier if we're doing this preview. So here you go. Enjoy.
Unlock the sheet. The sheet. All right, so
there you go. So now you know what I'm going to be at. So I'll be at Pandemonium Pro, whatever, forever, at 3 p.m., and then I'm going to be at Dragon Gate. So that is what you're going to get from me on Wednesday, is a review of Pandemonium Pro and Dragon Gate of the Sin City.
And from me on Wednesday, you'll be getting Hybrid Wrestling and Pro Wrestling Unplugged, Midnight Express for sure, and possibly Coastal Championship Wrestling and Colorado Wrestling Connection. It's up to them whether they put it on YouTube or not. Right. And actually, you wouldn't be getting that from me Wednesday. You'd be getting that from me early Thursday morning, but it's a Wednesday. We're going to call it a Wednesday show. So that's you're getting,
because it's 11:59 p.m. So they slid in there. Okay, Thursday is absurd. Thursday is an absurd day of professional wrestling. So I'll be kicking it off nice and early at 11 a.m. New Texas Pro, Sin City Stampede. Now that is going to be on IWTV, so you can watch your boy Big Biss.
I can't though.
Yeah, because you got something else to watch, sir.
And it's not Tokyo Joshi Pro.
It's not Tokyo Joshi Pro live in Las Vegas. It is.
If you were forcing me to do Tokyo, I would quit the podcast right now. If you said, Joe, you have to do it. There's not a wrestling promotion on earth I want to watch less than Tokyo Joshi Pro. But luckily, there's another show streaming.
Luckily, you got Progress Chapter 193 in the most disappointing name. It's just called Progress Las Vegas 2. That's it. Come on.
It's not tickety tock on the Big Ben clock.
No, of all the puns that you could make, and they just went with Progress Las Vegas 2. It's like, oh, come on, guys.
Oh, what happens in Vegas stays on our code of conduct? That's not the name of the show. Fucking code of conduct.
I forgot about the code of conduct.
Everyone's gonna follow that to the letter. Thank God you have that posted on the wall of the locker room.
Didn't somebody post the code of conduct and then got canceled when they posted the code of conduct because like something wasn't right in the code of conduct? It wasn't good enough or something. Was it Oku that got thrown in that or something?
I forget.
Somebody was like, "Here we go. Here's our code of conduct," and it was like, "Yikes!"
Like, this code of conduct, yeah.
It was like, oh god, they got like a minute of like they slapped their hands together and said, "This should do it. This will appease them," and
this will
then
get them off our backs.
Right? It didn't last more than a minute.
Their code of conduct got them canceled.
Right.
I love the idea that if you slap a code of conduct on your locker room wall, that someone's gonna go, I was gonna be a sex pest to this woman, but look at this code of conduct.
Number 7 says, "Don't be uncomfortable around people." All right.
Now I can't be a sex pest. Right. Unbelievable. So yeah, Progress. There's your
enjoy. There's your review, your preview of Progress Las Vegas.
11 a.m. Thursday.
Nice and early, bright and early for a Joe Lanza. All right, but that's all right because you got some good stuff coming up here. So unfortunately, I would love to be going to St. Louis Anarchy. Let anarchy be anarchy. They're at 3 p.m., but it's a tough time slot. That 3 p.m. on Thursday is a rough go because also at 3 p.m. is CMLL and WrestleCon, the Mark Hitchcock Memorial Super Shows. Now, I will be at WrestleCon. Now, the reason I bought my tickets is not happening, and we'll get to that here in a little bit, but I'll be at WrestleCon anyway because I think it looks like a pretty good show on paper this year. Masato Tanaka and Mark Davis, that's enough for me to get in the door no matter what, but you will probably be watching CMLL, which looks like a hell of a show.
I made my choice.
Yeah, sorry, Sean Orleans. We apologize, but
listen, look, I enjoy the other Matt Jackson. He's been on this show a million times back in his Pierre Abernathy days, and St. Louis Anarchy is a promotion that we have checked out from time to time over the years. But I look, tough decisions have to be made on a WrestleMania weekend. And there's 3 good shows at the same time. You are going to one of them, and I am going to watch CMLL at 3 o'clock.
All right, so that is, then we got a little bit of a glut of bad shows that aren't going to be streaming. Future Stars of Wrestling WWE ID Showcase on the Title Match Network, Joe. You better lock in, brother, because I'll be at West Coast Pro, West Coast versus the World, and that will not be streaming live, so you're in.
All right, so you'll be doing West Coast Pro, which isn't streaming, so that'll be a good review out of you, because no one else will have seen that. Mm-hmm. That's a good... But, I don't have to do the Future Stars of Wrestling ID Showcase because it overlaps with this House of Glory here from the Pearl Theater.
Oh, it does. It does, yeah.
So I think... And it
no
also
Cappuccino
overlaps...
Jones for you this year, so...
It also overlaps with El Desperado's Death Vegas Invitational on New Japan World.
That may now be on Triller TV Plus. Let me double check that. You might actually be able to get that on Triller TV Plus.
But it's available to watch either way. Right?
Yes, yeah. Okay. It will stream somewhere.
So I have 3 shows to choose from. You're not letting me look at cards. I am going to punch up House of Glory Culture Clash for that time slot. That's what I'm going to do.
All right.
I'm not sitting through a death match. Death match is the lowest form of pro wrestling. And I'm not watching WWE ID. I cannot do Aaron O'Rourke. I can't do it.
I don't know if he's still there. Is he still there?
He's a champion. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay.
He's a champion. Rich.
Right, I knew that.
Pay attention.
I was quizzing you to make sure you knew. Yeah, of course.
So I'm tentatively scheduled for House of Glory in that 8 o'clock slot.
Okay, all right.
Prime time Thursday.
Yeah, I'll put you there. So
yeah.
Then I'll just skip that one for
10
you.
p.m.
I'll save you a little bit on 10 p.m. Don't even worry about it, Joe.
Well, I only have one option at 10 p.m. Wow. If you're in Vegas, look at your choices at 10 p.m. You have Ladies Night Out 16, Sin City Showdown, Micromania Midget Wrestling, and Marvelous. That would be Joe at a blackjack table at 10 o'clock p.m. if I were in Las Vegas. I can promise you that. Rich, I can't do it. I'm not doing Ladies Night Out 16.
That's okay.
I can't do it. I'm blowing off that window.
Getting a meal. That is a great recording window for you right there.
It's a recording window.
Yep.
That's what it is. It's a recording window. So I'm going to record. I'm going to review CMLL and House of Glory when the House of Glory show ends. What do we got at midnight? Anything?
Midnight is MDK Fight Club, Game Changer Wrestling, which I would keep on your maybe lists.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put my name in there.
Right. Let me see.
It's Game Changer. It's unopposed.
Let me see if you're going to be very upset, because I don't want to get you upset. Last year, you got very upset at how bad everything was.
Rich, all these shows suck. I'm going to be upset.
Most do.
Either way.
Yeah, I agree.
It doesn't make a difference.
You know what? You should watch this one because Hayabusa's on it.
Oh yeah, well there you go.
So you can circle it into your 0-1 coverage.
Is this when he's facing Atticus Kogar?
No, this is Bear Bronson and Mr. Danger.
Oh, versus Hayabusa and Tanaka.
Yes, correct.
What's the show where he's facing Kogar?
That is going to be what is that one? That is Spring Break, I want to say.
Okay, put an asterisk on that one. I say no more.
Yeah, Spring Break. All right.
Matches. Oh, I say no more.
Okay.
All right, so we'll do the Game Changer MDK Fight Club and House of Glory on kind of a light Thursday for JL. Nothing in the. They're really not. Oh wait, no, I got Progress during the day.
Yeah,
too.
you got
That's
Progress.
You
got Progress, CMLL, House of Glory, and MDK Fight Club.
All right, so there it is. Progress, CMLL, House of Glory, Game Changer Fight Club. That's a solid reviews there of some solid promotion.
Yeah, and me, I'll be New Texas Pro, Sin City Stampede, WrestleCon, Mark Hitchcock Memorial Super Show, West Coast Pro, West Coast versus the World, and Marvelous. So that is my day on Thursday. So plenty going on that day. Right. So Friday, I'm pretty open Friday. So I'm going to be waking up. I'm going to Gringo Locos, the World on Lucha. So I'm locked in there.
I made an easy choice there.
Yeah, you have an easy choice with Action Wrestling. Unfortunately, they've gotten kind of goofy with their show. They've gotten kind of memey with their show. I don't know why, but maybe the show itself will be pretty good. But
but my choices are Action Wrestling or Oasis Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, if they decide to stream. Yeah, if they decide to stream.
Right.
Which
so we'll just lock in the Action Wrestling friends of the show. We'll just lock that in. And that'll be that. All right,
now, you're pretty good at
window.
3. 3, I think you're pretty locked in. I know you're not going to watch Stardom, so you got Game Changer Wrestling, Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, 15.
Oh, easy. Yeah. Bloodsport's
so
an
throw
easy
the name
one.
Right there.
Bloodsport versus Stardom. Come on.
Yeah, it's an easy Joe Lanza win there. Yeah. I am tentative. I don't know what the hell I'm going to be doing Friday. It depends if I crash out. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing at that point. I don't know what shows I'm going to. So I will figure that out for me on Friday. As far as like the afternoon slate for me. So like I said, I'm going to Gringo Locos, the World on Lucha. I have a ton of different options of what to do in the afternoon Friday. So we'll see. Maybe I'll do, I don't know. I'm keeping it completely open to see what the hell happens. Maybe I'll go to Texas Wrestling Cartel, Sleep with the Fishes. I don't know. There's a Backyard Fed that's running. Maybe I'll go watch them. Underground Sports Entertainment, Dungeon Roulette.
So you're gonna figure it out in real time.
Right. I'm gonna say, what do I want? What I've been here now for 2 days. What am I missing? What do I need?
Right.
How should I finish out my WrestleMania weekend experience? Because I'm flying out Saturday morning, so I got to figure that out. Now, 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. I should say for you. Joey Janela's Spring Break 10. That's, I think, pretty locked in.
I already locked it in.
Yeah, locked in for you. Maple Leaf Wrestling, Multiverse, that's a fake company, and they're not worth watching.
I'm not doing Maple Leaf Pro, to me, is the GLEAT of North America. I want nothing to do with it. I refuse to pay attention to it. So with Joey Janela's Spring Break, which has now become, let's face it, the epicenter of WrestleMania weekend, I can't. It's an easy decision.
Yeah.
So it'll be Joey Janela's Spring Break.
Right, and I might go to Janela's Spring Break. I'm not sure. Again, like I said, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm probably not. If you're going to be covering it, I'll try to do something. There's a Martinez Entertainment show that's happening at an address.
Ooh.
1706 South Industrial Road. So if you go to Google Maps, it's either a warehouse or the parking lot next to the warehouse, and we can't figure out which one it is.
I've been to Martinez Entertainment lucha shows. You got to go to that.
Okay, that is my. I'm keeping it open because I don't know where it's actually taking place. I kind of want to drive by just to see.
You'll figure it out. Listen,
okay, yeah.
You will see lucha libre stars that first of all you never thought would work 1706 South Industrial Road on a random Friday, and it'll be like your only chance in your life to see these guys wrestle live. And he books big stars. I mean, I've been to his shows before. That's got to be your choice if it's feasible. If it's feasible,
yeah. Put my name down with a question mark. I'm gonna try to get there.
Yeah. That's what I like to hear.
I have something going on. I might have a dinner reservation with a fine individual, but given that it's a lucha show, I'm guessing that I could eat dinner and still get there with plenty of time. If it's anything like, was it Martinez that ran last year? I forget. Somebody ran last year, and the line for Psycho Clown's 8x10s were so long. And Negro Casas was there too, and his line was super long. And it was like an hour and a half after they said the show was going to start, and they weren't even close to starting. So I'm guessing I have an opportunity there at Martinez to get there a little late and still take in as much as I need to see. So
this is why I don't check in on the chat. So I'm like, I have enough Aaron Rourke in my life. And someone's like, it's Gal. Yeah, exactly. That's Gal. Why I don't need to see WWE ID.
It's Gal.
It's Gal. The living action figure. No thanks.
It's Gal. Oh,
all right,
God.
what's our next one?
All right.
Here?
So,
oh no, I gotta watch this.
No, you don't. No.
It's the only one.
Well, okay. I might be, people are trying to, here's the thing. People are trying to bully me into going to Juggalo Championship Wrestling, Stranglemania, Viva Las Violence. I really don't want to because it's 11:59. It's probably going to go very late. My flight is very early Saturday. So I would have to probably go from that show to the airport. And I don't really want to do that. But I also it looks like an absurd show. It looks like the Blackcraft Wrestling of this year's WrestleMania weekend. There's 1,000 people announced for it. I know I don't want to tell you any cards, but can I run down the schedule to appear for Stranglemania? Okay. I have to. Okay. Juggalo Championship Wrestling, Stranglemania, Viva Las Violence, 11:59 from the Horseshoe. All right. One match announced. Vampiro's retirement match.
Oh, God. Say no more. How are you not going?
Vampiro versus X. We don't know yet.
Oh, great. Well promoted. Listen, this was the master's class that Vince Russo gave to Tony Khan. Absolutely.
All right. Are you ready for schedule to appear?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to take a drink here.
It's Gal.
It's Gal is not on this show. I don't know. Not scheduled to appear yet. Okay. Vince Russo, Violent J, Shaggy 2 Dope.
Can I stop you a second?
Yes.
In their interview of Tony Khan yesterday, they asked Tony Khan how he feels about being the on-screen authority figure in AEW. Tony Khan has approved this match, all that stuff, and every now and then he'll make announcements on the show. And Tony asked Vince Russo, he said, well, Vince, you have a lot of experience with that. How do you feel about the booker being an on-screen authority figure? And Vince Russo had the nerve to say, I never liked doing that, Tony. I never liked...
Oh, shut up.
I never liked putting myself on TV. It was something I never liked doing.
Former WCW World Heavyweight Champion Vince Russo. The leader of sex, Vince Russo, right?
Leader of sex.
Same guy? Is that who we're talking about?
Same guy who was feuding with Ric Flair on screen, WCW World Champion.
Shaved Ric Flair's hair on screen, yep.
Put himself in matches, and who, by the way, is the #1 listed to appear on his own show at WrestleMania weekend. Right. Just days after the interview.
The best part is when he first came into WCW, he would say that too. He'd do interviews in WCW. He's like, bro, I never want to be on screen, bro. He came in and immediately did like the George Steinbrenner on Seinfeld. Remember they were the powers that be?
Yes.
And he would be like from day one. Day one. First off, before he came in, they made an announcement on Nitro that said, Vince Russo and Ed Ferrara have become the new writers of WCW when they start next week. So he made those guys announce that he was coming. And from day one, he was one of the powers that be backstage, never shown on screen, but you could hear his voice all the time. Then he got fired. Then he came back, and then he was an on-screen character the entire time he was in WCW until he left.
Yes.
And then immediately was an on-screen character all throughout TNA.
Yeah.
But he didn't like to do it.
He told, I never like doing that,
Okay.
Tony. I don't like putting myself out there on the camera. That's what he said.
Okay, all right.
That's literally what he said. So, and it's funny. Scheduled to appear. Vince Russo.
Yeah, right.
First name.
Probably be the first pop out there, too. All right. Vince Russo, Violent J, Shaggy 2-Dope, Rob Van Dam, Kenta. Yes, that Kenta, Joe.
All right.
His one and only WrestleMania weekend booking is this.
All right.
Nick Nemeth, James Storm, Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson, Charlie Haas. You're going to love this 1-2 punch. Matt Riddle and Congo Kong.
Oh.
Yeah. Whoa.
Okay. All right.
No one's canceled here. The Beastman, Mr. Happy, Nyla Rose, Too Tough Tony, Big Al, Mickey Knuckles, Facade, Ruffalo the Clown, Yabo the Clown. We are not even close to Dunjo. Mecha Wolf, Jasmine St. Clair. Yes, that Jasmine St. Clair.
Mecha Wolf, no one canceled.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Right. EC3, Jeeves, Willie Mack, Katie Forbes, Matt Cross, Abel Booker, Jackson Crowley, Ninja Mac, Danny Moe, several more to go, Joe. PCO, Stephen Flo, Cocaine, Hollywood Haley J, Mr. Anderson, Jonathan Coachman, The Rock and Roll Express of Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, Kerry Morton, Caleb Conley, George South, Big Vito, and finally, the Ring Rat will be there.
I'm sorry. Did you say Stephen Flo?
Stephen Flo will be there, yeah.
Okay. All right. That's a lot of names.
That's a lot of names. So I don't want to go to that show, but I'm being bullied into it, but we'll see.
I think Tony Khan should watch that show and get a master's class.
Take some notes.
on how to book pro wrestling. So here's what I've done. I put Rich /Joe ?
There you go.
For Juggalo Championship Wrestling. Now, if you go to the show, I will then cover Killer Cross presents FSW Mecca 11, a violent night in Sin City from HyperX Arena.
Yep.
So, yeah, those are our options on Friday late night. Clap, get into it.
Saturday, you can wake up with some Effie's Big Gay Brunch. I'll unfortunately be on a flight.
Covered.
Oh, shucks. I'll be on a flight. I'd love to go.
You'll be on an airplane.
Yeah.
Now, the Gay Brunch is the only show available in that window.
Correct.
On streaming. So I will be covering the Gay Brunch.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever covered a Gay Brunch because there's usually more competition.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to choose from.
No.
So I'm gonna watch the Gay Brunch on Thriller TV Plus.
Then we have WrestleMania. Of course, we will be doing Instant Reaction Live for WrestleMania. Then at 10 p.m., if you can still stomach wrestling, got a head-to-head matchup here of Killer Cross's Natural Born Killers 5, Hostile Territory, or Joey Janela's Spring Break, The Immortal Clusterfuck.
I would not watch another clusterfuck if you put a bazooka to my children's heads. There's not a fucking chance I'm ever watching another clusterfuck.
Yeah, last year was a descent into madness, so you should probably just watch Killer Cross's fake blood sport show instead.
So Killer Cross, Natural Born Killers 5, Hostile Territory it is, which means I could potentially be watching 2 Killer Cross produce shows WrestleMania weekend. Once again, clap, get into it.
Yeah, I don't want to watch the clusterfuck either, so don't put me down for that.
So WrestleMania Night 1 is at 3 p.m. Central.
Correct.
Should wrap up around 7.
No. It'll be 5 p.m. 6 p.m. Central. 6 p.m. Central.
Oh, 6 Central. Oh shit.
For
wrapping
Pacific, yeah.
Wrapping up around. Okay, so we
hold on. Let me double check that. They did change the times. They may have actually changed it since I did that. Let me double check.
Well, either way, we're good because the Killer Cross show doesn't start till midnight Central.
Right.
So we'll have a hard out on our Instant Reaction Live. That's all.
So you can get to Hostile Takeover.
I got to get to Killer Cross Natural Born Killers 5.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's Saturday.
Yeah.
So Sunday, we have nothing.
Nothing. Mania.
Nothing is streaming.
Nope. WrestleMania.
Why do they always do that? It doesn't make sense to me. You know, you can do WrestleMania is not till 4 o'clock local. You could do a show at noon, stream it, get some. Yeah, they never do though. That's all right. All right, Sunday, I'll record some content in the afternoon with a little Reds baseball, and then it's WrestleMania
Yep.
in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and that concludes it. So, yeah, we just went over a lot of shit that we're going to be covering. I mean, that is a ton of shows. I think.
Well, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
Tentatively, let's see: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, about 23, 24, 24, 20, 25. About 25 shows. About 25 shows.
25 shows.
About 25 fucking shows are going to get reviewed. Who else is doing that? Who else is reviewing 25 shows?
Other
Rich?
people are going to review Spring Break and WrestleMania.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe
Right.
a Spring Break. Hey, what's that rapper who runs? He's not running a show this year. He ran a good show
West
last
Side
year.
Gun. No, he is not running.
Fuck, man, that show was good.
Was it Heels Have Eyes? Was that
Heels Have Eyes last year?
Nah.
What's the name of that? Squared. What do they call it? Cubed circle, square. What the fuck's the name of that promotion?
I forgot that he had a name of his promotion.
Yeah. What's the name of that promotion? It was high budget. It was really good. That was one of my favorite shows of the weekend.
I always thought it was just called Heels Have Eyes, but it has another
That's the name of the
Fourth Rope.
Fourth Rope.
Yeah.
Fourth Rope Heels Have Eyes last year was so much fun. It was high production. He uses all kinds of canceled wrestlers who are good that no one else will book. Like, I enjoyed watching that legitimately. I was hoping he'd be running again this year, but he's apparently not running, huh? No. Fourth Rope. Okay, no Fourth Rope. It feels like someone else is missing. Who else is missing?
No For the Culture this year. They're done.
No For the Culture. Well, that show really was starting to suck.
Yeah.
I mean, it was time to kill that thing.
Somebody asked about All Caribbean Wrestling. I think they're canceled.
They might be out the fucking door.
Yeah, they're not coming. But so I didn't. The problem is people. You're naming shows that we're not streaming. There are several of these things are airing. There's people in the chat room being like, "What about this? What about that?" Go listen to the preview with myself and Griffin Peltier. We went through every single show. So Compton Mania is running. Somebody said, "What about Compton Mania?" Compton Mania is running. I don't know why, but Compton Mania is running. Vegas Mania from Container Park at 6 p.m. They have a 30-man battle royal, and they've announced 4 names. So they're happening. There's a lot of shit happening. A lot of it, just very few of it streaming that we know of. Now, will some of these shows pop up randomly? Maybe. And that could actually increase the amount of shows that we watch, too. Like, some of these might air. I don't know.
Well, what happens is Griff keeps an eye on that and keeps us informed if some of these things are going to pop up randomly on YouTube. See, the schedule we just gave you is certainly tentative because some things are supposed to stream and then they just, they never get the stream up, right? And then you have to go watch something else. And sometimes these promotions just randomly decide on the day of the show, hey, you know what? We're going to put this on YouTube. Be there. So, these are the 25 tentative shows that Rich and I will be covering WrestleMania weekend. And if it sounds crazy, if you've never been around us for a WrestleMania weekend, we do it.
We're idiots.
Do it.
We're complete idiots, but if not us, who?
Yeah, that Patreon feed is going to be like Thursday afternoon update. Then it's going to be Thursday night WrestleMania weekend update. Then it's going to be, you're going to get a million of these little review shows of everything that we just named. So, and then sometimes, because I'm an absolute fucking sicko, if I have an open window, I'll go back and watch something that I couldn't watch earlier and even squeeze that in. So, all right, I'm excited. I'm actually fired up. I'm fired up.
Yeah.
Whatever the first show is, I'm going to be so into it. It's going to be the greatest review I ever do. It always is, because I'm like, all right, I'm rubbing my hands together, and then I get halfway through that first show, and I'm like, oh, my God, I got 4 days. Right. Oh, shit, right? And there's always that one wrestler that happens to be on every show I'm reviewing, and I'm sick of them by Friday afternoon. But I have like 4 more matches of the guy. It was Mike Bailey a few years ago when he had the same match 17 times.
Your brass. Yeah. Oh, I remember that mania where he's like, brr, brr, brr. You're like, God damn it. Here we go.
Brass monkey. I was calling his spots before he did them by the end of the weekend. It was utterly ridiculous.
That happened with me in New York that year with Pentagon. I saw Pentagon like 7 times. And we were at the Blackcraft show, and it was me and Taylor, half of the Jumping Bomb Audio, and Sean Flynn. And we had seen him like 4 times that weekend, or 4 or 5 times or whatever. And we were literally between ourselves going, okay, here we go. Chop, chop. We were calling it chop.
Yeah.
And then, bounce against the rope, shoulder block, grab the glove, take the glove off, throw it was beat for
Sierra
beats.
Mero,
Like doing beat for beats. And so there was some guy behind us. He's like, "How do you know what he's doing?" We're like, "We've seen it." Like he thought we were like in on it. He was like, Did you get the script?" And we're like, "No, we didn't get it." He does the same thing every time. So,
yeah,
it was exactly the same, which I appreciated.
Yeah, working the opener of every show because they had to get to the next show.
Yes,
all
weekend
long. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Look, I'm pumped up. I can't wait for Coastal Championship Wrestling High Rollers.
I hope, man. I hope.
Wednesday at 5 to kick things off.
You got to hope for Colorado Championship Wrestling. CWC versus the World has like 9 title matches on that show, so you got to really hope that.
Listen,
I mean, it's a show with a lot of stakes.
I love shows with stakes. I love a good title match, so I can't wait for that. So yeah, I'm all pumped up. Everybody should be. A lot of action. Everybody loves WrestleMania weekend. So let's get into it.
Hell yeah.
And let's go.
Let's do it. So again, like I said, previews of all those shows available on the free tier, flagshippatreon.com. So make sure you sign up there before the weekend. Myself and Griffin, 2 hours covering every single show, and then myself and John Carroll of Wrestling Omakase covering all the Japanese representation. And there's a lot. There's a lot of really Japanese promotions running and a lot of really good Japanese wrestlers all across the weekend. And there is also, and I said, there's the grenade of a random Jack Perry match, and I cannot wait for you to have to experience.
So did I pick the show?
Oh yeah. Yes, you did.
He might be a welcome change by the time I get
You know
to
what?
him,
it might be the one thing that gets you. You're like, this guy's not so bad. He's a pretty professional pro wrestler. Yeah, you're right.
It's. I think I know I think I know the show. Actually, I think I know.
Okay.
Isn't he teaming with Marco Stunt against? They ran an angle on Game Changer.
Yeah.
So I blew up the bit, but it's Jack the Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt versus whoever attacked Marco Stunt on that Game Changer show, and then Jungle Boy made the save. So, maybe the Dinosaur Man will make an appearance.
Someone said, "I hope he drives the bus down the strip."
Oh God. Very popular on Tumblr, I hear.
Oh, good.
Very popular.
I'm glad.
Tumblr.
Hopefully, they buy some fucking pay-per-views then if they're really excited on Tumblr.
Listen, before we preview Dynasty, you reported on this story earlier today, and you got to catch me up on this.
Okay.
So the Berwyn Eagles Hall, is it called? What's it called?
Eagles Club. Berwyn Eagles Club.
Eagles Club. Berwyn's Eagles Club, where Shimmer, I think, made that. Didn't they make that building famous?
They did.
All right. So anyway, why am I talking? You wrote the story, but you did audio on the story, and you wrote the story behind the paywall. So what the hell's going on with that?
Okay. So the Berwyn Eagles Club, that is, it's been running wrestling for 20 plus years now. I think 2005 was the first time, or maybe actually February of 2004 was actually the first time that a show ran at the Eagles Club. So it's not much of a building. It's literally a bingo hall. It's an Eagles Club. It's whatever you want to call it, whatever, like what would you call those sort of things? Like the Lions clubs, or like a VFW hall. Like I don't know what. Like that's a relic of another era. But if you're not from America, I don't know what the comparison point would be anywhere else in the world. But it's literally a bingo hall. So it's a carpeted bingo hall. Not much on the outside. On the inside, it's wood paneling. It's very old school. It's carpeted. It looks like it's from 1972. It's old as shit, but it became the home of a lot of Chicago wrestling. Shimmer would run their weekends there and make it famous. So some of the greatest wrestlers in the world would head out for a weekend full of wrestling shows every Shimmer weekend. AEW made it their home for many, many years, and AEW, of course, grew and grew and grew, and then it was a hub for American indie wrestling. It was kind of like PWG Midwest for a while there. And AEW ran many years before with mostly local talent and people from the Midwest or whatever. But there was that brief period where there was just a deluge of indie talent. So they were just booking like Bolo level cards every single night, or every single week that they were there. In the Eagles Club. So it's in this little tiny building with about 300 people capacity, hot as hell, if you're in there with a bunch of people, but it felt like home. And I went to a ton of shows there. I went to shows starting there in 2005, and I ended up living pretty close to there for a while, and then I was going to shows like every time AEW was there for years and years and years. I was going to shows there, so it was a great place for professional wrestling in the Chicagoland area. Anybody who wrestled in the Midwest wrestled at the Berwyn Eagles Club. It was home to a lot of lucha shows as well that, I didn't go to all that many of those, but anytime you were at a show, you would leave and some guy would hand you a handout or whatever, a poster or whatever of some random lucha show that's going to happen. And they were always like, they would say like Rey Mysterio was going to be there, and, he was never going to be there. There used to be a time where I would like DM Cubs fan and be like, is like Atlantis really going to be there? And he's like, no, it's just a guy in an Atlantis mask that says he's Atlantis. It's definitely not Atlantis. I'm like, okay, because I was thinking about going. He's like, no, don't go. It's not going to be Atlantis, or it says Dr. Wagner Jr., but I assure you it will not be Dr. Wagner Jr. It'll be just some other guy, Rey Mysterio with an eye, like a bunch of those kind of guys. But it ran lucha shows all the time. So it ran American independent shows. It ran lucha shows all the time. It was the hub. It was the hub of wrestling in the Chicagoland area. It had really started to ramp up in the last couple of years because they started booking anybody. For a while there, they were a little bit more careful about who they booked and who they wanted in the building, but they started letting anybody run there. So some deathmatch companies started running there, which I always thought was a little ambitious because it's a very small building without very good ventilation. So I was like, I don't know, is this a really good idea to have death matches in this place? And I always thought that wouldn't end well, and it didn't. Guess what? It didn't. But what happened and things were fine. Things were going fine for a couple of years, even after the deathmatch company started running there. But what happened was 2 weeks ago, Relentless Pro Wrestling ran there. Now, you guys, most of you listen to this probably know the story or heard the story or whatever. But what happened was at this Relentless Pro Wrestling show, word got out that a wrestler was stabbed. That Mads Cruel Kruger was stabbed at the show by a fan. A fan stabbed Mads Cruel Kruger after the show and got, escorted out by the rest of the wrestlers. The wrestlers kind of roughed him up and got him out of there as quick as possible, and Cruel got stabbed. And that was the rumor going around, is that Cruel got stabbed by a wrestler at a show. And it was like, whoa, what the hell's happening there? And the Berwyn police got involved, and it was a whole thing that a man got stabbed at a wrestling show at the Berwyn Eagles Club. Well, Cruel tweeted out the next day, Cruel's fine. He also flew across the country to go wrestle a show the next day in like Pennsylvania. So what? Okay, we'll circle back on that for a little bit.
So he wasn't stabbed too seriously if he was stabbed.
Yeah. He seemed to recover quite quickly from his stabbing. So
Okay.
Yes. Then what sort of happened is in the aftermath of the stabbing is a lot of people that were either there or people that didn't fully understand what was going on, because video came out of, here's the guy who stabbed Cruel getting beaten up by the roster. So the rest of the Relentless Pro roster who were out there, because it was after the show, they were all at their merch tables or whatever, all gang up on this guy. And there's like 15 people just pounding on this guy, beating him and punching him and punching him. Yes, the alleged stabber getting punched and thrown around or whatever and sent out of the building or whatever. So video of this came out. And as the video came out,
all of this.
Yeah, so you saw this. Yeah. Okay, so you saw this, and I think most people probably saw this alleged stabber getting beat up. Well, what happened is in the aftermath, several people that were either there or were fans or even other wrestlers, because Gregory Iron, I don't know if you remember Gregory Iron, he was a longtime Midwest guy. He used to wrestle all the time.
He
was a manager.
Guy. He's
correct.
Got the hand.
Yes. So he was at the show, and he has a podcast, and he went on his podcast and said basically, I was there. I didn't see a knife. I didn't see a stabbing. Nobody mentioned anything about a stabbing. People just mentioned that this guy, was fucking around with Cruel, and the wrestlers beat him up. When we were leaving the building, nobody mentioned anything about a stabbing. And then he says he comes home and he wakes up the next day and he finds out that the news is going around that somebody got stabbed at this show. And he's like, what the fuck? Nobody got stabbed at the show. Not that I saw. I saw this guy and Cruel have a little bit of a dust up, and I saw the other wrestlers beat up this guy, but I didn't see any stabbing. I didn't see any knives. Like, where was the knife? And he's watching and he's even saying, I'm watching this video. Like, where's the knife? Where's the weapon? Where's it? So he's confused about what's happening here. And basically just like, I don't know. It just kind of looks like my fellow wrestlers beat up a fan. And he acknowledges this fan was really annoying all show, was drunk and was being annoying and was causing problems. And everybody was kind of like, that guy is a problem. We got to get him out of here. And nobody did anything about it. And then after the show, of course, that the thing happened with Cruel and the thing happened with the other wrestlers. So whatever. So Gregory Aaron's like, I don't know what the fuck. This is really weird. A couple other websites reported on this story and reached out to the Berwyn police, because the Berwyn police got involved because there was an alleged stabbing at a building. So, of course, the police would get involved in something like that. If you say, hi, I was stabbed at a building, or a stabbing occurred at this building, the police would get involved. Lawyers would get involved. The building would get involved. This now this is more than just a wrestler and a fan kind of got in a dust up. This is a man was stabbed, right? That is a bigger deal. The police kind of just said, oh, well, we don't know. We have to kind of figure out what's going on or whatever. Cruel wasn't answering anything. When people reached out to have some sort of evidence or some sort of thing about the stabbing, he said nothing. He would not respond to anybody. A bunch of people reached out for comment. He didn't say anything. Okay, whatever. Today it's announced that the Berwyn Eagles Club ceasing wrestling after April 24th. April 24th will be the final event. That is going to be AEW. They ran the first wrestling event at the Berwyn Eagles Club, and they're going to run the last one at the Berwyn Eagles Club. Now, in that, GCW was supposed to run there in June. They just announced a date in June that they were going to run there. They later would tweet out on their official account, it's canceled. The show on June is canceled. We'll try to figure out where we're going to be after this, but we're not going to be at the Eagles Club. And then Brett Lauderdale quote tweeted that and basically said, and I should probably read what he said because I think it's important to put.
Read it verbatim.
Yeah, because I'll put it in Brett's voice. Because not me saying it, it is Brett Lauderdale saying it. So let me get exactly what he said here. Just give me a moment to load up. Oh, come on.
Don't be an anxious boy. Just take your time and pull it up, and people will be patient.
I got it.
You don't have to fill the air. It's all good, Rich Craich. It's all good. You're gonna pull it up. You're gonna do it.
I got it.
You're gonna do it. You're gonna pull it up.
Thank you.
It's gonna be in a timely manner. You're going to read it. You're going to read it nice and slow so you don't have to do your fast voice. Everyone will understand you. You got this, man. I got faith in you. Right, dead air is okay. We're not on actual radio.
No, we got to do a program ID. We have to identify ourselves at the bottom and the top of every hour.
I think as most people suspect where this story is going, this stabbing may have been, we'll see. We'll see if anyone actually got stabbed.
Yeah, so certain people do not believe that
this man was stabbed. That
yes.
Cruel is fine. The last we've heard from
You're right.
from Mads Krugar, and now there's no more wrestling at this historical wrestling building.
Right. Okay, so GCW said we have been informed by the venue that all events at the Berwyn Eagles Club, including our June 20th event, will have to be canceled. So Brett Lauderdale, owner of GCW, quote tweeted, quote, "This was directly caused by an incident, parentheses, the fake stabbing that took place at another promotion's event, which has caused the town, lawyers, and police to be involved. It's truly a shame to see the Berwyn Eagles Club and 20 years of Chicago wrestling history come to an end like this."
So this alleged stabbing is now an alleged faked stabbing.
Correct.
So why would they fake such a thing, Rich Craich, to beat up an excuse to beat up this unruly fan who was ruining the show?
I think so. So what happened is the fan did get in a dust up with Cruel.
Mm-hmm.
Something happened. He tried to tackle him, or I don't know what happened. Something, I wasn't there. There was somebody in our Patreon who said I was there, and the guy did like try to tackle Cruel or whatever. So what happened is I'm guessing this fan was being unruly, being annoying all day. Everybody kind of hated him. Then he started to try to attack Cruel. So then they all decided to start punching and beating him up.
He gave him a reason.
Right. So they said, "All right, motherfucker," and beat his ass. The problem is there's video evidence of this. People are recording. It's 2026. People have phones. So I'm wondering if they all got together and said, well, that doesn't look good. 20 of us beating up on a fan is probably not going to go well if this fan decides to, maybe seek litigation or something like that.
Or it just looks bad.
Right. Or it just looks bad. Why are we all beating up this fan, even if he tried to attack one of us?
They decided, we got to punch up this story a little. We got to punch it up.
Allegedly. Again, I wasn't there. I can't say. But several people that I trust all think that this was not a shoot stabbing.
So you asked around.
I asked around, yes. And nobody that I trust.
No one thinks this man got stabbed.
Nobody I trust.
No one
thinks,
you spoke to.
Yeah, exactly.
That you trust thinks that this man was actually
Correct.
Stabbed. And now the Berwyn Eagles Club is like, fuck this.
Right, we're
we
done.
don't want nothing to do with pro wrestling. All because they jumped and beat up this fan.
Right.
And then made up a stabbing, which got the police involved and everything else.
Right.
Now, Gregory Irons didn't see a stabbing. He
was there, and he says, "Look, I was there. I didn't see a stabbing. I didn't see a knife." And his big thing is nobody mentioned anything about a stabbing, like in real time. It wasn't like, whoa, when they got that fan out there. it wasn't like the whole locker. He's saying the locker room wasn't like, oh my God, did you see that guy? He stabbed me. And it wasn't like we called an ambulance for Cruel. He's saying, look, the show was over and we all left and nobody said anything about a stabbing. And then he wakes up the next day and it's like, wrestler stabbed at an event. He was like, what? I was there. Nobody got stabbed.
Right. He's like, I don't remember a guy getting stabbed.
Yeah, and he doesn't remember anybody talking about the stabbing. So something happened between Gregory leaving and him waking up the next day and finding out that there was a stabbing that happened.
And the bottom line is Berwyn Eagles Club is like, fuck wrestling. You guys are all crazy. This is too much of a liability. No more. Which is a shame.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, this place has run hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of wrestling shows over a 22-year history. And yeah, they're just throwing their hands up. And they own a ring and like, it was a hub. There was just, that was a place that almost always had wrestling every single weekend for years and years and years and years. And there's not a lot of venues available in Chicago either. So it was like a huge hub for a easy, affordable. They had the ring. It was just a very good place to run a wrestling show. And they just have thrown their hands up and said, fuck this. Figure it out on your own then. I don't know. We're done. We're out of this business. So it's crazy.
Sucks. Didn't they almost get rid of wrestling at another time, though?
They did. There was a couple years ago where I think the guy lost some will to run wrestling shows, and it didn't last very long. I think he got convinced to do it again, but maybe he's been looking for a reason, and this was like okay, good. I don't need to do this anymore. Because people have said he's kind of burnt out on running wrestling at the building, and there's a lot of licenses and stuff that he's got to do and tell, I don't know. So it may have been the straw that broke the camel's back, or death by 1,000 cuts, quite literally this time, or allegedly, but
allegedly, yeah.
Maybe he decided, okay, this is it. But we were able to get a statement from AEW promoter Mike Petkovich, who said April 24th will be the final event at the Berwyn Eagles Club. It started in February 2004 with AEW, and it will end with AEW. Tickets are limited as there will be an attendance cap. Now, I have tickets, so I'm going to try to get there. There's so many memories, and this venue has had such an influence on what we see on TV today. Everyone at AEW is saddened by this turn of events, and we will deliver one final show in Berwyn only as AEW can. So that came directly from the promoter. I do. I bought tickets.
Well, good. When is the date on that?
April 24th. Now, the problem is I agreed to dog sit before I found out this was going to be the last event ever from the Berwyn Eagles Club. I agreed to dog sit 4 dogs, but
what kind of dogs are these?
We got a Dachshund, we got a Chiweenie, and 2 Cairn Terriers, including my dog. So
stick them in the yard,
at night, all night.
Yeah, stick them in the yard. They'll be all right.
They'll be fine. April 24th probably be nice out, so they can.
Yeah. They'll like that. A little freedom. That's what a responsible dog sitter does. Just throw them out in the yard.
Throw them in the yard.
Yeah, well, what a weird story. I'm sure.
Shoot stabbing. I love that I have to a shoot or a worked stabbing. What is this?
Right.
Stupid.
Is this a regular Chicago promotion? I've never heard of this.
No, I don't know what the hell they are. It's some trash ass fucking deathmatch promotion. Of course it is.
Yeah, of course.
It's I don't even want to, but it's exactly what you think it would be. If you knew, if I told you the people that were on this show, you would say, of course,
right?
It's that kind of show. It's I'll do it right here, and you'll see. It's Hoodfoot, Otis Kogar, Mickey Knuckles, Lou Nixon, Ricky Shane Page, Cruel, Schlack,
Oh boy.
Yeah, you know exactly what this is.
Now, I'm not saying any of those people are specifically responsible for the
no. I'm just saying that
stabbing.
No,
but that's the kind of show it was.
Correct.
Saying a death match.
Yeah,
correct.
Right.
Assigning no responsibility to any of the above names. We don't know who worked the stabbing, or decided to stomp a mud hole in this guy. But there you go.
Yeah.
What a weird one. Rich Craich will be on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the sources and the connections.
Yeah, hopefully, if we get anything else, if I can confirm for sure that it was a shoot stabbing or a worked stabbing, I will let you know.
You're basically the Al Capone of Chicago independent wrestling journalism.
Yes.
You know what's going on.
I do, yeah.
You're hanging out in Cicero. You got it all. You got it all under control. You're like Joe Massarone. You know what's up.
Yeah, I walk in the right area where what's his face? Someone killed themselves right where I'm. One of the guys
killed themselves.
Yeah, one of the mob guys. Chicago mob suicide. Let's see, I forget. Frank Nitti, right where Frank Nitti offed himself. Walk by that spot every day. So
the feds were coming for him.
Yeah, you know what? I get it.
He didn't want to go to the can.
No, he's like, fuck this. Yeah.
So we're told Ricky Shane Page, Schlack, and Joe Dredd are the promoters of the show. So Ricky Shane Page, who's kind of persona non grata these days with a lot of mainstream independent. Is mainstream independent promotion an oxymoron? I think people know what I mean.
Yeah.
All right.
The high end indies, yeah. Mainstream. Sure. No, yeah, that's fine. Mainstream indies, I think it's fine.
Mainstream indies.
Yeah, I think it's.
I don't know if those rebels over at Game Changer want to be called mainstream independent wrestling, though, right?
Right. Yeah, they're GCF and Dub. You know, yeah, right. They don't want to.
Yeah, they don't want. They wouldn't be happy with that. So I don't know. All right, we probably got to preview Dynasty at some point in this show. I mean, that's a big pay-per-view.
That is a big pay-per-view. Well, actually, one quick thing.
Okay.
One quick thing, because we're not going to talk about TNA any other time during the show, and we did talk about WrestleMania weekend, so maybe let's
preview Rebellion. What are you talking about?
No, you said you're doing a Flagship Plus where you preview Rebellion.
Only because you are a feckless coward.
Well, no. Here's the thing.
Okay.
I can't review the show. I can't review the show because I'm not going to be around next week to do a Flagship. So I don't want to get hyped up for TNA Rebellion 2026 live from whatever building they're running in Cleveland, Ohio, featuring Bernie Kosar. I don't want to get too excited about the show and then not be able to review it. I'll just be a ball of energy all week thinking about, man, I got all hyped up for TNA Rebellion 2026 live from whatever building in Cleveland, Ohio, and now I can't even talk about it. Because I'll be watching it. I'll be locked in on Saturday watching it. So
I have to say, you're talking a lot, and all I hear is blah, 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 I'm a dirty slut. That's all I hear. Blah, 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 I'm a dirty slut. Look, I don't see why you can't preview a show just because you're not reviewing a show. But listen, the listeners know where you stand. I was in a Reds Discord today. And I swear this is wrestling related. And one of the posters said that he's going to a wrestling show this weekend. And I said, oh, really? You're going to Dynasty? And he goes, what? No, I'm going to Rebellion in Cleveland. And I had to be like, oh, cool.
Oh,
I didn't want to blow up his spot.
Oh, sick.
And then I was like, well, I should have figured that someone in a Cincinnati Reds chat
would be going to Vancouver
would be going to Cleveland instead of Vancouver.
Right.
I didn't think that one through.
Yeah.
I just thought he was going to Dynasty, and I was gonna try to sell him on a subscription to the flagship patreon.com. But when I found out he was a TNA fan, I'm like, I better not direct him to our shows.
I don't think he's gonna want to listen to us.
I better not direct him to our shows.
Not
he
this
probably won't enjoy our content. But I did direct him to the Mike and JD show.
Right. Hey, have you heard of the Mike and JD show?
I'm like, Mike Gilbert is the premier TNA super fan, and he will tell you everything you need to know
about Rebellion.
About Rebellion and Impact Wrestling.
TNA Wrestling. They're not Impact anymore. Come on.
Yeah, but Impact Wrestling on Thursday nights.
Thursday night
right
Impact.
Now.
Yeah, on AMC. We're going head to head with them right now. Yep.
Right now.
So, all right. We should mention this, and then we'll get to Dynasty. TNA is canceling indie matches featuring their wrestlers versus AEW wrestlers. So they previously agreed to let a few matches happen, and now are pulling those guys from matches against AEW talent. So the first one that caught wind, and MJF has been making this very well known what's going on here. MJF was scheduled to face Nick Nemeth at Creative Pro Wrestling's May 1st show. They now announced that MJF will instead be issuing an open challenge, and Nemeth will now face Bear Bronson, fellow TNA talent Bear Bronson. So that was the first one. And MJF, again, as I said, has made it very well known what he thinks of this and what he thinks of one Carlos Silva for canceling this. But the bigger blow for me, though, is a potential match of WrestleMania weekend that I was told, again, got cleared. Everybody knew the score about this. TNA knew the score. AEW knew the score. Leon Slater knew the score. Ricochet knew the score. Everybody agreed. They had figured out a finish. Everyone said, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. Great. Okay. Leon Slater versus Ricochet was announced for the WrestleCon Super Show Many people bought tickets because of it. I know for a fact. We have ticket links up on our website. I'm one of them that bought tickets. Like, we see the traffic going on. Like, a lot of people were very excited for Leon Slater versus Ricochet. And despite being agreed upon by all parties involved, including TNA, that match is now off. So we don't know what's going to happen quite yet. Now, I don't know if you saw the WrestleCon response, but I love what they did. They said, yeah, promotional, whatever. This show's about something more. And then they played the Mark Hitchcock memorial video that they play during WrestleCon each year. And they have, the introductions where they say, hey, this show, just so everybody knows, this is, the Mark Hitchcock Memorial Super Show. It's, a former employee of ours that tragically passed away. We do this show for him and in his memory, and then they played the video or whatever. So I like that response from WrestleCon to say, look, and all this dumb shit going on with these promotional wars and who's versus who and who can wrestle who or whatever, we're just trying to put on a show for our fallen friend, So they played the emotional card there, which I appreciate. I like that. Moose has also been pulled from Maple Leaf Pro's multiverse show. He had previously been approved to be on the show as well. So, Joe, I ask you, what's happened here where TNA for the last month was perfectly fine with all these people wrestling, these AEW wrestlers, and now something has happened in the last 3 or 4 days that has made them decide, wait, never mind, you can't wrestle against these guys.
Well, has anyone reported on this yet?
Nobody has said anything yet.
I don't think anyone has reported anything.
No, the speculation is that Carlos Silva is upset that AEW ran head-to-head with them last Thursday. Now, MJF, in no uncertain terms, was just like, you dumbass. It's called a preemption. I think I'm paraphrasing, but it was essentially that. Like, you dumb idiot, we got preempted. That's why
not only that was for the Final Four.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
And AEW would rather be on after the Final Four to get that inherited audience, to get the gigantic audience that you're with the lead in of the Final Four. So I'm sure that was a network call to move days because Tony Khan would have preferred to be on after the Final Four. Why wouldn't he have been? So that just doesn't add up, that they would move the show to Thursday on purpose. Because why, would you want to go head-to-head with another wrestling show?
And against the Flagship, too.
Of course. And B, you get the stronger lead-in if you... We see what happens to these AEW shows every time they follow a strong sports lead-in. They do tremendous numbers. So I don't know if Tony Khan would be so petty as to want to take a couple thousand viewers from Impact at the expense of doing a bigger number. That doesn't make sense. So I think Silva, if that's his train of thought, and that's just speculation.
And that's a report from Cultaholic, I should say. It's a report from Cultaholic. And MJF quote tweeted it and said, it's called being preempted due to March Madness. This guy, he's talking about Carlos Silva, is actively a dumb motherfucker. Congrats. You pay your talent shit, then force them off shows where they can make money. Hashtag LOLTNA.
Yeah, I mean, we could only speculate too. Nothing's been reported. I haven't attempted to talk to anybody on this. I don't know even who I could talk to on something like this. But it sure seems to me, a lot of people might point the finger at WWE, but if they never had a problem with this before, why would they have a problem with it now? Why would WWE care if Nick Nemeth is wrestling an AEW wrestler? So I'm not sure if I buy that.
Well, they always care, though. Here's the thing. WWE always fucking cares about this shit.
But they haven't to this point.
Right.
That would have been, I would think that would have been policy from the moment they signed that official contract with TNA for their little, whatever they call it. Why would they wait till now? Did something else trigger this? Was there another match that annoyed them? I don't know. But I guess the Carlos Silva head-to-head with Impact thing is as good a theory as any right now. But here's what all this is going to do is make TNA the heels to the fans.
Yes, and that is my point.
Not going to like this.
They're going to have a very bad weekend at WrestleMania weekend because guess what? Leon Slater is going to still maybe work that WrestleCon show,
right?
And I'm not saying there's going to be "fuck TNA" chants loudly, but I bet there's going to be some really loud "fuck TNA" chants when Leon Slater comes out. No, there's no benefit whatsoever for TNA doing this. They gain nothing and they lose everything. They lose perception.
Now, hold on. I will say this. I can understand not wanting your wrestlers to lose to AEW wrestlers. But don't allow those matches to be booked to begin with then.
Correct. And that's the big thing here. And that's
the big thing.
Because dumb people like Jimmy Corderas is like, well, of course they don't want it. It's like that wrong on purpose. That guy, I hope he's trying to be wrong on purpose because that motherfucker finds a way to be wrong all the goddamn time.
He legitimately, no shtick, is one of the dumbest people.
He's never right. Ever about anything.
Never right about he's an idiot.
He jumps into every conversation and always has the wrong opinion about it. And it's like, you idiot. Right. You fucking idiot. And he's like, I was in the business. Well, yeah, you were a fucking referee and you don't know what you were doing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You and Jonathan Coachman, and neither of you know anything.
Because okay, great. You were in the business. Why are you always wrong about everything then? Because he's like, well, yeah, of course TNA doesn't want there, but he's missing the point is that they were okay with it. I agree.
Okay with it. That's why the matches got booked.
Right.
Okay. If TNA's policy from the start was, okay, we're on AMC now, we're not getting in the ring with wrestlers from other promotions unless it's WWE, who we have a working agreement with, no more AEW involvement, none of that, then none of these matches would have been booked to begin with. That's the issue here, that the matches were booked and now the rug is being pulled. That's the issue. No one would even know if this policy ever existed if it was just a policy from the jump and the matches were never booked to begin with. But when you're taking Leon Slater and Ricochet away from people, you're the heel now. You're the heel in this situation. Tony Khan was asked on the media call today about this, and he got out in front of it. He was very smart. He said, hey, look, I had no problem with it. He said that MJF and Ricochet both asked him permission if they could wrestle a TNA wrestler. He okayed it, and he said, I love interpromotional matches.
Yep.
Of course you would say that because you're going to babyface yourself in this scenario and make it look like you're not the problem. It's these assholes who are now rug pulling these matches that people have already bought tickets to. That's what Jimmy Corderas, that buffoon, and all of these other people are missing here. It's that people bought tickets to watch MJF wrestle Nick Nemeth, and people bought tickets to watch Ricochet wrestle Leon Slater. And for whatever reason that TNA has now, they're the ones pulling the rug on the matches. And it's a bad look. And they're absolutely the heels here.
And like you said, I think Tony was smart to get ahead of it. And because he got out ahead of it, there was a bunch of people talking about their relationship with AEW and Brett Lauderdale, again, bringing him up. He said on Twitter, he said, there have been bumps in the road, but the truth is Tony Khan and AEW have been good to GCW since day one, both publicly and privately. I am grateful and thankful that they continue to allow their talent to perform on our events.
Yeah.
So as we're kind of talking about here, the benefit is nothing for TNA. They get nothing out of this. And the downside is
PR.
You're a bad PR and you're going to be the fucking heels all weekend.
Yes.
And look, if I'm Leon Slater, I'm livid because I'm about to go and have a great match with Ricochet. Let's come on. Those two dudes, are you kidding me? On WrestleMania weekend at the WrestleCon Super Show, we're going to tear the fucking house down. And Leon Slater was going to be, moreover, after that match, was going to be a bigger star after that match. And there's just, I'm sure, and everyone has said that he wanted to do this match. Him and Ricochet wanted to do this match. That was the biggest reason why it happened, is like those two dudes were like, oh, that would be, and they're right. That's a fucking great match. That is, in an era where there's very few dream matches left, that's a fucking dream match. Leon Slater versus Ricochet, that fucking rocks. And I know for a fact that Leon Slater wanted to be a part of that match. So for that rug to be pulled on him, that can't be very good. You know, Moose trying to get paid doing a Maple Leaf Pro show, and he can't do that now. He got pulled from that. Like, you're not endearing yourself very well to the talent either. I can't imagine that Leon Slater's super happy about the biggest match that he could possibly have in his life at this point getting pulled, a couple days prior. It's going to make maybe, and some of that might be him worrying that people are going to think he's the heel in this situation. But I think most people are nuanced and know that it's not him that's doing it. Yeah, people are not going to blame him. They're going to blame TNA. And like I said, TNA is now going to be the heel during WrestleCon, and they're going to be the heel at that Create a Pro show because those fans wanted to see MJF versus Nick Nemeth, and those guys have been working that match through Twitter angles and podcast angles for weeks now, and now that rug got pulled from them, and we'll see if anything else pops up. But it's just these matches that were highly publicized and very anticipated to happen. Just it boggles my mind.
It's a horrible
either.
It's
and neither scenario works out. If you just decided 3 days ago, oh shit, wait, yeah, no, we don't want any of these matches. Like, what are you doing? Like, first off, if you think the collision running against you was the reason why you did this, you're kind of a buffoon. Stupid reason, but okay, fine. If you just for some reason decided that you didn't want your talent versus AEW, well, then you're kind of a buffoon. And if Daddy WWE told you had to do this and you did it because they told you to do it, kind of a buffoon again. So I don't know, man.
I think that if Silva wanted to enact that policy, he should have allowed the matches that were already on the books to take place and then do it from that point forward. Because again, to me, the issue here is matches that have already been announced and sold tickets being taken away from people.
Right.
To me, that's the issue.
Well, and doesn't this remind you of, and this is why I said that I do wonder if Daddy WWE has something involved in this, because I don't know about you, but I get a lot of NXT UK vibes out of this, where remember that was, oh, no, these guys can still wrestle whoever they want, wherever they want. We don't care. No, it's not a problem. And indies would say, okay, Pete Dunne will be here at X Wrestling or whatever. And they would announce Pete Dunne. They would announce the match, and then 2 days prior, due to unforeseen circumstances, Pete Dunne is off the show. And due to unforeseen circumstances, this guy's off the show, and this guy's off the show, and this guy's... And that happened for like a month straight, and then all these indies just basically said, you know what, fuck this. We're not booking any of these guys anymore. Because now we look like an asshole to our paying audience because we said Pete Dunne's going to be here. This guy's going to be here. This guy's going to be here. And then those guys who said, oh, no, you can work whoever. What? You work wherever. Oh, no, you're still independent. It's fine. Then pulled all those guys from all those shows after they were already announced and after they were already on posters and after tickets were already sold. That's what the vibes that I'm getting right here. And that's why I wonder if this is the WWE playbook, out again. And
look, it's possible. It's absolutely, with WWE, you can't discount it.
And we know TNA, and especially Carlos, if WWE says jump, he's going to say how high every single time.
Of course. Yeah. Which I'm not sure why at this point. I mean, what are they doing for him? What benefit is he getting? Chanting 2 stacks of dimes Lorenzo on the shows? I mean, you can't
Ariana
live without
Grace
him.
And Shaq's chanting stacks.
Doesn't she just work for TNA? I don't even think
No. She's an NXT talent still.
I thought she got cut and then signed to TNA.
No.
Yeah, but I mean, so what are you going to do without those two? I mean, what's your promotion going to collapse without chanting 2 stacks of dimes Lorenzo? I mean, what are they really doing for you at this point? I mean, at one point there was a lot of crossover. And you're like, all right, whatever. They always get the short end of it, but that's how promotional deals work. You get you don't have the high ground. But now they don't really get anything out of this. So I don't know. It's not impossible. Something got up his ass and made him make this decision. It's just horrible PR. It's just TNA. This is just classic TNA. It's just horrible PR.
They love stepping on rakes. If there's a rake, they are going to find it and they're going to step on it every time.
Yeah. Well, they were probably going to lose those matches, I would assume. I mean, I guess Leon Slater could have beaten Ricochet. That's not that big a deal.
I do wonder if they were going to be. I wonder if there was also going to be like some schmaz finish or something like that, or a double count out, or and that's not great. Like nobody really wants that. But
as people are pointing out, Jody Threat just beat Mercedes Moné, and it's like,
well, he decided after that this is the new policy now. This is what I'm saying.
I understand that, but it's like, if AEW doesn't care that Mercedes lost to Jody Threat, why would you care if Leon Slater's losing to Ricochet?
It makes you look like a complete fool.
Because Mercedes is by far the biggest star in this scenario. Other than MJF, who's not losing though, so it doesn't matter. So it's like, you can't. I don't know. I wouldn't think that would have been the motivation. But no matter what the motivation was, they come off like the heels, and it's just horrible PR, and it's just awful. I mean, I would have just I would have just enacted it. I would have said, okay, from now on, we're not getting in the ring with AEW wrestlers.
Right. If you got a bug up your ass, hey, Leon, you're the last one. Leon and Ricochet and MJF Nick. But
whatever dates are announced, that's it.
And that's for all of his faults, and there are many. One of Vince McMahon's things, the entire time that Vince ran, he always told his talent to play to finish out their dates. Always. Yeah. And the guy was Vince McMahon. I don't have to explain much about you, but he always told people that he signed
before they started,
finish out your dates and then you can start.
Yeah.
Because
the right way.
he thought that was the right way to do business, no matter what. And the fact that this guy, it's
which is so strange. He'd come in and stomp out a territory with no regrets.
Yeah.
But it was, finish out your dates before you start because I don't want to screw over these promoters. I just,
maybe the fans. Maybe you didn't want to screw over the fans that much.
Maybe. But
and as we've seen in TKO quotes and whatnot, it's like Vince was like who knew? He was like, the fans need to afford to go to our shows. And they're like, Vince, fuck off. Like, charge more for these tickets, man. Like, what are you doing? So I always find that juxtaposition very funny, that it's like, Vince didn't want to because it was Ari Emanuel, right? That was on the interview. It was like, I told Vince he had to raise ticket price a long time ago. And he was like, no, it's family entertainment. It's just so weird that you would think of Vince being like, no, God damn it, we have to lower ticket prices. It's like, I didn't think of that guy as like the good guy in this situation.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to preface this with I am absolutely not handing it to ISIL.
You do not have to hand it to Vince McMahon. No.
I am not handing it to ISIL. But everyone is a shade of gray to some degree.
Yes.
It's like, okay.
It's so hard to do this.
How can I thread this needle?
I don't know. I know. I think our listeners get it, but yes. But just, yes.
Don't let this one escape containment.
No, this will not be up on YouTube.
Yeah. But it's just so weird. Like, where did the ethics stop and begin with people? You know what I mean? Like, it's such a weird line, But anyway, I'm tugging my collar. Let's move on.
We should probably move on. Yeah. All right. So there it is. That's the TNA fucking up WrestleMania weekend. So there you go. Okay. AEW Dynasty, big time.
Yes.
I love how we're backing WrestleMania towards the end of the show. We'll get to WrestleMania. We'll get to it. Whatever. The granddaddy of them all, the showcase of the Immortals. Fuck it. Who cares? I care about Dynasty more anyway. So
look, Dynasty's in like 3 days.
Right. It's the more important show right now.
WrestleMania is in like 10 days. The only reason we're doing WrestleMania tonight is because we're not doing a flagship next week. So Dynasty, quite honestly, deserves to get previewed
for sure
before WrestleMania. So
also, it's us, and what other show would stuff WrestleMania towards the back of their show other than us? So I appreciate that.
Again, though, I mean,
yeah. In this case, it deserves it. It deserves to be that. But okay, AEW Dynasty. Again, you did a Thursday Dynamite review that is available on the free Flagship Patreon.com tier. So if you're listening to this on the free Flagship feed and you want to listen to the weekly Dynamite review this week, you can for free. So all you have to do is go to FlagshipPatreon.com and you can listen to that show. So you talked a little bit about this card, gave some pithy thoughts about each of the matches, but we're going to go in more in depth here, obviously for Dynasty coming up this Sunday. From the Rogers Arena? Every building in Canada is Rogers something, so I forget. Is this the Rogers Arena?
Rogers Arena, Vancouver, Canada.
Okay.
We just got an update from WrestleTix 5 minutes ago. So the setup is 8,800 seats, 8,822. Tickets distributed, 8,319. There's 503 tickets available. I don't know what this building holds. I assume it's a large arena, so it's probably like a half setup, but they're 500 away from their allotment, which they're going to hit. So I would suspect that they're going to have about 9,000 people in the building.
Yeah, I'm assuming this is where the Canucks play. I would guess. Yeah, it is. Rogers Arena is
all
the
right,
big.
So that means it. All right, well here we go. Yeah, it's a 17,000 seat arena.
Yeah.
So there you go. So they're not going to put 17,000 in the building, but if they do very well the next couple of days, and I have no idea if Vancouver is a walk-up town, 10,000 is not out of the question. 10,000 is not completely out of the question, but I'm guessing they have about 9,000 people in the building, which will be a pretty healthy gate. The last time they ran the building was May 11th, 2024, again, courtesy of WrestleTix. And that was a Collision that drew 6,600 fans. So this seems like a good town for them, this Vancouver, based on this data. So
Canada's, I think Canada's usually done pretty well for them. Because what was that? The show they had, Dynamite, was a pretty healthy crowd, right?
This is the first pay-per-view in Western Canada, too. Mm-hmm. So, if you're from British Columbia and that area, this is your first chance to see an AEW pay-per-view because, Canada's a massive country and Toronto is not exactly a hop, skip, and a jump.
No.
It's a pretty long flight.
It is.
So that might explain why on the rare occasion every 2 years or so when they go out there that this city seems to draw pretty well. 6,600 for a Collision is a huge number. A 2024 Collision doing 6,600.
That is wild. Oh, a 2024 Collision? Yeah, because I was some of those early Collisions, you look back and you're like, wow, they were doing good business.
Well, they had a certain
he who shot
major star,
right,
who shall not be named, who sells a lot of tickets, much to the chagrin of
But I always, because it would always be like you go look at WrestleTix and it's like the last show here was like Collision, like 7,000. You're like, whoa, Collision had 7,000 people in this year or whatever. But yeah, there was a run there where Collision was doing quite well when it came to your town. But
wonder why that was.
Yeah. Anyway,
moving on.
0 Hour, Alex Windsor versus Marina Shafir. One half of the brawling birds out here against Marina Shafir.
Well, not only that, but Alex Windsor is now tangentially connected to the United Empire. She came out of the limo last night.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And so there's a tie in there where this is more Death Cab for Cutie. What's his fucking group called?
Death Riders.
The Death Riders versus United Empire implications here as well. So Tony doesn't really ignore the real life relationships that you can't hide anymore in this day and age. So, and I think that's usually the right move, right? So it's like everybody knows that Alex Windsor and Will Ospreay are an item. Did they get married yet?
I don't know if they got married. Yeah, I don't know if
they're going to. Though, so let's just call them husband and wife. So I mean, why can't she be in the Brawling Birds and the United? There's no reason she can't be. So that sort of plays into this as well. Mm-hmm. So it's more. Why can't I think of the name of Moxley's? I'm just gonna be a long night.
Death Riders.
Death Riders.
Right.
Yes.
Small little unit. Pretty insignificant in AEW, yeah, Death Riders. But
now, will they be adding more pre-show matches? That's
I would guess. Yeah, they've never had a 0 Hour with one match. I mean, I'm guessing Collision's going to be filled with loading up the 0 Hour, I'd imagine. So, because pay-per-view itself, and we'll talk about this in a minute, I maybe another 1 or 2 matches get put on the pay-per-view proper, but we'll see. So we have Chris Jericho versus Ricochet. So obviously this form, if you've missed a week of wrestling, you're probably like, what? or 2 weeks of wrestling.
Excuse
me?
me?
What? Christian, Rich, you have this wrong. Chris Jericho versus Ricochet? That surely cannot be the match. It is the match. Chris Jericho versus Ricochet. So obviously Jericho made his debut or re-debut on AEW 2 weeks ago. Comes back, signs his contract this week. Ricochet comes out, they talk shit. We get a match here, Ricochet versus Chris Jericho. Now, I'm curious on your thoughts on this Chris Jericho character. Do you think he's turning heel again soon, or is he going to be this happy-go-lucky babyface for a while? I don't trust the happy-go-lucky babyface, Chris Jericho.
Well, he's got something up his sleeve.
Right, we're doing the list, and we're doing. There's a little. This isn't Chris Jericho. Something's happening.
He's got something up his sleeve.
Right.
I don't know. He got a great response last night on Dynamite. People claimed he had a tepid response the week before. I thought his response was fine the week before. Maybe that's just me being on an island. I don't know. But this week it was indisputable. But this is easy, though, because it's in his backyard, these towns that they're in right now. So I guess there's still the test to be had of what kind of response he's going to get when Dynamite gets back into the United States. Mm-hmm. I get the sense that he's going to be welcomed in just about every city. I think that
it's a mostly online thing.
I agree. I think the Chris Jericho stuff is a mostly online thing. But look, as far as this goes, if he was worried about getting booed, he picked the right opponent because Ricochet gets nothing but heat. It's not a split crowd when Ricochet comes out. He has done a fantastic job being a heat magnet, and I don't know if any of us anticipated that when he came into the company that he had that in him, but he does. And Jericho returned. He's obviously in phenomenal shape. I mean, the guy's got a 6-pack. He's in a healthy weight. At the end there in that program with Bandito, he was a fatso. Let's be honest.
It was rough.
And he wasn't moving good, and the matches were really bad. So we'll see. I mean, he's still 54, 55 years old. So even if he's in great shape, who knows if he can go. But I think, from a match standpoint, in there with a guy like Ricochet, the match should be fine. I wouldn't expect a match of the year contender, but I think it'll be fine. And then we see, does Chris Jericho have something up his sleeve like Rich seems to think he might or not? We'll just let it play out.
For sure. Yeah, it's a strange styles clash in some ways, but it's also, I have enough faith in Chris Jericho to put together a pretty damn good match with Ricochet, who's a phenomenal wrestler as well. So I'm not too worried about this match. I'm just, I'd be curious to see how Chris Jericho's moving. He, like you said, he looks in tremendous shape, so I'd assume that he'll be moving a little bit better, especially having a year off or whatever. But we'll see if there's some rust there, or if he, picks it up pretty quickly and maybe is moving around and working a little bit better now that he's in a little bit better shape. But I'm looking forward to that match, just to see how Jericho looks at 55 and see how that styles clash kind of works out. I imagine it'll be pretty damn good, but we'll see. I got the Young Bucks versus Okada and Takeshita. So Okada and Takeshita teaming up with the Young Bucks. I got to say one thing about this, and I at least I appreciate that they addressed this on Dynamite this week, where Don Callis is like, look, I know you guys don't like each other, but you're going to have to just deal with it and team up and, use Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. I would have used Kobe and Shaq personally, but if you want to use Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, like, those guys hate each other now, but at the time they didn't really hate each other. But regardless, whatever. Fine. You want to use Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, that's fine. Did Okada not elbow Takeshita in the back and kick him out of the ring like 5 months ago? Do you remember that? There was a pay-per-view, and he literally dropped an elbow on him and kicked him out of the ring when they were tagging against one another. And I was like, well, surely that'll be it. Takeshita, he kind of comes across like an absolute goofball that he's still hanging around in the stable with this guy. Now, I'll maybe eat my words if the bell rings and he just takes this guy out right away or something. They're not going to do that, though.
Well, I mean, they brawled last night as soon as they got within sight of each other in the opening angle.
But they shouldn't be together anymore.
Look. Stop yelling at me. I agree.
It's like,
and look, I they need to shit or get off the pot with this. I've been saying that for weeks. They have dragged this on way too long. So hopefully this is finally it. Takeshita also challenged him for the international title.
Yes.
Last night. So they were at odds. He challenged him for his belt. Don Callis is desperately trying to keep them together, claiming he doesn't care if they hate each other. But how much longer can they kick this can down the road? I mean, they can't get past Wembley without doing this match, right?
Oh, God, come on. No, we can't wait that long. August something? Let me see. Let me get all in.
Wait, that's all I need to hear. It's August?
I think so. It might be June. Yeah, August 30th. August 30th.
Oh, for fuck's sake. It's like the NFL will be started by then. You can't kick this can down the road that far. I mean, this match, you can't hold this off to Wembley. You can't. How many more angles can you do between these two guys? It's getting to be ridiculous. So, I'm hoping the split finally happens here. This has gone on for so long that I've thrown out the idea, is this Tatanka Lex Luger? Is Okada the one going babyface here? Are they going to surprise everyone and jump him and claim he's been causing trouble all this time? Like, there's a way they can do that that'll make sense. Mm-hmm. They'll say, look, you've been a pain in the ass to this guy, and we like him better. And then they put the boots to Okada and kick him out. And then Okada has a big babyface run, which he hasn't had in AEW. I think there's still money in that.
And I'd appreciate that, because I think that would help cover up Takeshita looking like an absolute goofball, getting beaten up and humiliated by this guy constantly, because Okada's almost always getting the better of Takeshita. And there's some people in the chat room saying, well, Callis did dangle a singles match if he could work together. I'm talking about 5 fucking months ago, Okada dropped an elbow on him and kicked him out of the ring. Like, we're long past this. And that was months after Okada was being a complete asshole to the guy for nonstop. So you're right. I would maybe accept it if the long-term thing was Okay, Takeshita is he was in on it all along.
Yeah. Right.
So he had to eat shit for a while until Callis said, okay, now it's time. Let's do it. Because that would, versus Takeshita being like, yeah, I know I waited 7 months to turn on you or whatever and leave Don Callis.
What are Takeshita's motivations to keep putting up with this?
Correct. I don't know. People are telling us that he added like a international title match if he was nice to Okada or he worked with him or whatever.
We just said that.
Right.
We just said that. That's new though. That's like, I'm not talking about the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, you got to give me the last 10 months where this guy was being a complete asshole to him.
What are Takeshita's motivations to put up with this shit for as long as he has?
Right.
So it would make it actually, there is a plausible storyline which would make sense if when push comes to shove, the entire Don Callis family attacks Okada and not Takeshita and kicks him out. And then Callis can cut a promo saying, you've been trying to break this thing up for months. I tried to hold it together, but you just can't get along with Takeshita, and you're old news, and he's the future.
I was going to say that line right there is I could just see Don Callis saying, I'm always looking for the next guy, and this guy, he's the next guy. You're old news, pal. You're 38 years old,
And that wouldn't come off like a Russo swerve at all, because it would explain, like you're saying, why Takeshita put up with this shit for months and months and months and months and months.
Right.
So, so we'll see. I don't know. I just, as long as it's gone on, I'm thinking maybe there's a swerve at the end of this.
Right.
I don't care what they do. I just want them
I just want to move on. Yeah, I want to move on for sure. And they're facing the Young Bucks here, so it should be a fucking great match because it's the Young Bucks and it's an AEW pay-per-view. So I'll get the Case Low article ready to go because I'm sure it'll fucking rock no matter
Crack
what.
The fingers, load it up, get the link ready.
Right.
Yeah.
I always do. They come out and it's just like, all right, well, get the link ready. It's probably gonna be fucking great. And guess what? It's almost always fucking great. And then I'll tweet the link out.
We're sure.
Yeah. No,
yes,
they're not.
We're sure.
Right.
Yup, we're sure.
Every time. It's the same reply. If you have to reply the same way for the last 7 years, yup. It's like,
yes, yup, sure, yup, we're sure. Yeah, we are.
Dopes.
The Usos exist.
Yeah. The Heart Foundation or whatever. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's always the worst.
Yeah,
nobody brings up any good examples ever. No one's once brought up an example where I go, you know what? All right. Yeah, I'll listen to that.
Have you guys ever heard of the New Age Outlaws?
Right. It's never a good example. Never
terrible.
Once I've said, you're right. Midnight Express is pretty good. It's always like Usos, the Legion of Doom,
Right. Not Road Warriors.
No.
Not Road Warriors. Not Road Warriors, Legion of Doom.
Heart Foundation's one that we always get to, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're sure. It's the best. Because that guy cracked his knuckles. He's like, no, I better let him know. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be the first guy to reply, yeah.
New
to this
Day
tweet.
question mark?
Right. I'm going to be that guy. All right. We have the AEW TNT title Casino Gauntlet match with a vacant TNT title. I believe Tommaso Ciampa and Rush, right, are going to start it off. I think those are the two guys that are in it.
Spoilers, my man.
Oh, that's shit.
It's Rush versus Anthony Bowens on Collision.
Oh, right. I'm sorry.
The hell, Rich Craich. Do you know the lengths I went to on the Thursday Dynamite review to not spoil that today?
That guy, the guy that who planned his Saturday around this, he goes, man, I hope Bowens pulls it out here. Is now devastated. I've ruined your Saturday. I apologize.
Yeah,
I apologize. I will edit that out of the free. I will not do that. But
you're only getting that Jane's Addiction theme once on Collision because he's not going to the pay window. Okay.
I'm sorry, person that was like, damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it. Saturday's ruined. He's gonna be just a pain in the ass tomorrow at dinner. His wife's gonna be like, what's wrong? He's like, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Bowens and Rush. I know I have Rush wins. I know.
He's gonna get a fight when he's gonna pot roast again. Right. God damn it. But he's really mad at you.
Yeah, right.
And he's gonna take it out on that pot roast. Because they had pot roast last Thursday. The wife is going to be in tears. and this is all your fault.
It's all my fault. And he really can't tell his wife why he's mad either, because that sounds even worse.
It sounds horrible.
He's going to be, bad day at work. Fucking Jim, how things go.
Yeah, he has to blame it on the pot roast. And And he can't tell her that you spoiled the Anthony Bowens match. So, and on top of that, he doesn't want to watch Collision now. So he's like, I gotta fucking watch baseball now. You know, he's pissed off. You ruined his Saturday.
I apologize, person, for doing that. A match I know Joe's going to be all strapped in for. AEW Women's World Title, Thekla versus Jamie Hayter.
First of all, it's Thekla.
Okay,
not Thekla.
What did I say? I said Thekla?
You said Thekla.
I apologize.
Thekla. Her name is Thekla. Don't you ever disrespect that queen ever again. Okay, that's number one. She should never lose this title. She should retire.
You think forever?
Women's title.
They just get rid of it.
They should just, when she chooses to retire, they should just retire the title with her. She's awesome. I love every single thing that she does. She is unhinged. She's the less cartoonish version of Luna Vachon. That's how I see her. Like, Luna Vachon was very clearly a cartoon character, right? You can't take her seriously. I think this is Thekla. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Clark Connors comes home from working out at the gym and she's like, we're going to the strip club and I'm going to break your fingers. Like I feel like this is her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, like I feel like that's that.
The promos come across very genuine. I will admit they come across extremely genuine, which is both troubling and endearing.
And he just takes that toothpick out of his mouth and says, "All right, I guess we're going to the strip club."
All right, let's go.
He's like, "Are we taking my motorcycle or are we taking the car?" Like that's how that's playing out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and. No, this has a chance to be fantastic.
Yeah, they're gonna they're gonna beat the shit out of each other too. This is a great match.
These are I love what you said about Thekla last week, where her whole essence and probably why I love her so much is she's not the kind of women's wrestler that you see a lot these days, who's gonna cry and hug her opponent and raise her opponent's hand after the match and go, women's wrestling. You know, she said no, that's not her energy at all.
Hell no.
And I'm so sick of that energy. And that's not Jamie Hayter's energy either.
No.
So, they're just going to want to go in there and beat the shit out of each other and have a physical match. And I think Thekla should retain. I don't think we're even close to the right time to take that title from her. She's doing a fantastic fucking job. Her promos are great. The act feels fresh. She has good enough matches. I like that she hid the brass knucks down between her tits in her last match. It's like I like everything about. I mean, she's just doing such a great job. She's one of the most exciting acts in the company right now. I perk up every time she comes on the screen. So I'm very much looking forward to Thekla versus Jamie Hayter. These are probably my two favorite women's wrestlers in the company.
I was gonna say Hayter's probably my favorite woman in the company. So I'm very excited about this one because I think all of her, especially her pay-per-view matches. I mean, she almost always delivers big on pay-per-view. So yeah, they are just going to beat the living shit out of each other, and I'm here for it. It's going to be great. And like you said, no, the match isn't going to be over, and Hayter's going to be on her knees crying, extending a hand, and Tekla's not going to pick her up and say, no, we're not going to shake hands. We're going to hug women's wrestling. Like, if Jamie Hayter reached her arm out, which she would never do, Thekla would just, grab it and fucking break it. Right.
Well, see, the fans aren't going to want to, they're not going to chant women's wrestling when these two are having a match. This is just a wrestling match, it's right up my alley. And I want more Thekla. I haven't had enough of Thekla yet. Now I'm going to get sick of Thekla. And I'll let everybody know when I'm sick of Thekla, and I'll be loud and annoying about it. But right now I'm not sick of Thekla. I want more Thekla.
Yeah, and like I said, this is a match that they're going to be done with, and Tekla's going to have a bruise on her. One of their noses will be bleeding. They'll be bruising everywhere, and I'm all here for it.
I can't believe the Joshi fans were like, when I was like, I don't know nothing about her. How is she? You're not gonna like her. She's no good. She bombed in Japan, whatever. Well, what the fuck happened over there? How did this person not do well in any promotion? I don't understand.
Know. Well, maybe it says more about the promotions than it does Thekla. But anyway,
maybe she doesn't take screaming meteoras from frilly dressed fucking princesses very well or something. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. I don't know.
Possibly. I didn't see enough of her in Japan, so I can't say if she was a. But yeah, everybody gave like horrible remarks for her.
Horrible. They're like, she's whatever. It's not a great signing. Are you kidding me? This has been a fucking grand slam.
Yeah, she's great. She's great, and Hayter rocks too. So Andrade versus Darby. Now, I can't stand the Andrade camera in the crowd thing.
It's really annoying.
Can we really pare it down? I know it got over once. It's a yeet. We're yeeting now.
It's a yeet.
I'm so over it. Oh, here's a mildly attractive woman in the front row. Here comes Andrade. It's just, I hate it. But here's the thing I'll say. If anybody is going to do what I said should happen and come out of fucking nowhere and just suicide dive Andrade into next year, it's Darby Allin, right? You could see him doing that cannonball while Andrade is getting the phone number.
Right,
Darby comes from the other side of the ring and just takes his ass out. Maybe he takes the woman out too because she's probably a worker. A lot of them are just workers.
In this case, you make sure it's a worker.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, they overdo it. That one match they did the spot twice. I mean, what are we doing? Like, we heard you.
It got over once, and now it's just every single time.
Here's the thing, though. This is a pretty important match because there are two guys who are being pushed in the upper mid-card world title contenders. They're both in the world title mix. Andrade wins the match last night. Darby cut the promo questioning whether he could ever win the big one, and he needs to prove himself by eventually becoming the world champion. And you almost feel like the winner here might be next in line for a title shot. Actually, that's literally the gimmick, right? Isn't this
I think so. I don't know.
It's a number one contender match. If Allen, it's for Darby Allin, I think. If Darby Allin wins, he gets a title match. That's the gimmick.
Okay.
He has to get through Andrade, though. He has to get through Andrade to get that title match. So it's a very important match from that standpoint. And, both of these guys, again, pushed as upper mid-carders right now. So it's interesting. I don't know which way they're going to go with this.
Yeah, I could see Darby getting the win, and he seems like a very good, transition. Like he just, faces him at, what would it be, Double or Nothing would be the next pay-per-view or whatever. Darby's one of those guys. It'd be good to have him just go to, Double or Nothing, lose again or whatever, because I don't think you're giving the title to Darby anytime soon.
He's got to win it eventually.
He does. And you don't want to wait too long for that time.
It's very clearly his long-term arc. He's going to have to beat someone for that belt. But I think that you have to make him suffer some more. I think you have to make the fans suffer some more. Pro wrestling is about making the fans suffer until the proper moment and then giving them what they want. You don't want to give them what they want too soon. You don't want to give them what they want too late. And sometimes you don't want to give them what they want at all. It's really a tricky balance. I think this is a time where you have to give the fans what they want, but you have to time this one right. And with Darby, the more suffering he goes through, I think the better. I'll give you an example. Of people might be saying, oh, what do you mean there's times where you don't give the fans what they want at all? I'll give you a perfect example. Tommy Dreamer should have never beaten Raven. Now, eventually they did it, but he should have never beat him. To this day, Tommy Dreamer should have never have a win over Raven. To this day. But that was an example of something that should have never been given to the Tommy Dreamer should have been tortured forever. This one, Darby should win the title at some point. But that question is, when do you peak that? When do you time that out? And do you get the timing right? Do you wait too long? Because you can wait too long too. People could eventually just, we're done with him. We've moved on to someone else.
Do you think we have gone too long or no?
No, I don't.
I agree too. There was a point where I thought maybe they were going too long with Darby, but I don't think so anymore. I think it's fine. I think you can still have him suffer even more, like you said. And the other thing too is if and when he does win that title, whatever it may be, he's got to lose it the next night, on Dynamite or something.
Of course, yeah. That's his energy. He's not someone who holds the belt.
Or that night or whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever you got to do it. He's got to lose it immediately.
He wins the belt. Gets a great moment. You can't have him hold the belt. He loses it the next week. He loses it the next day. He loses it. I think even the next pay-per-view is pushing it. You get the title off him quickly. Because again, that's his energy. It's like he finally achieves this great moment. And the whole essence of him is it gets taken away from him again.
Right.
That he's Darby Allin. His whole gimmick is that he wants to fucking die young. He's not supposed to be happy. His moments of happiness should always be fleeting. That's the whole idea. But But yeah, so this finish is interesting. I can see them. There's a couple matches on here where I don't know what way they're going to go. And
right? Yeah, this is a coin flip for me. I could see Darby winning and going to face an MJF at Double or Nothing, but I could also just as easily see Andrade winning this match as they continue his progression. And maybe give him another title shot here. So we'll see. But yeah, it's another coin flip match for me. AEW Continental title: Jon Moxley versus Will Ospreay. I just got to say something about Will Ospreay.
All right.
I wish I loved anything as much as Will Ospreay fucking loves pro wrestling. This guy comes back from a neck injury. Whatever neck surgery he got, seemed like he came back pretty early from it. Who knows? Maybe it wasn't. Some people said maybe he didn't get the surgery that everybody thought he got. He got a different surgery or whatever because he came back so early from it. And you would think that a guy coming back from neck surgery would take it a little easy, ease into it. My man is wrestling nonstop. He cannot stop wrestling. He's comes out, his attacks are vicious, and he's doing bumps even when he's attacking people. He's wrestling on New Japan shows. He's wrestling on every AEW show. I mean, you can't stop this guy from wrestling. And how do you not like just inspired by this guy's drive to wrestle? He just wants nothing more in this world than to fucking professionally wrestle. I mean, how cool is that? I know some people don't like the guy for this reason or that reason or whatever, but
whatever. Get over it.
But especially these two guys, this is a great match of these two dudes who they want nothing more in life than to professionally wrestle, and they both love it. And you just know, God, you know how good this match is going to be because these dudes cannot wait for Sunday to come and them to get in that ring and for them to wrestle. They can't wait. They're probably talking about it every day and discussing it every day and counting down every minute that it takes. So they're in the ring going. I mean, Moxley just wrestles in every fucking collision, every single Dynamite. Will is like, yeah, mate, I'll go. Yeah, bruv, I'll go to New Japan. Yeah, bruv, I'll do AEW Dynamite. Yeah, bruv, I'll do it. Like, he can't wait to wrestle
listen,
again.
He's going to be a semi-regular in New Japan this year.
Yes.
And we'll talk about that when we talk about Sakura Genesis. But I mean, he's going to be flying back and forth, and he's going to be heavily involved in the top storyline.
He just put himself front and center in it. Yeah, he put himself front and fucking center into the top story in New Japan. And
because
it's like,
he wants to help his boy get over.
Yeah.
With Callum Newman and everything. I mean, look, he has been a house of fucking fire since he returned from this neck injury.
Hasn't missed a beat either. Looks
that has
great.
been telling people he's going to tone it down. It sure doesn't seem like he's toning it down. And I don't think he has it in him to tone it down. I think he may want to tone it down, but he just doesn't have the ability to physically do it.
I think he toned it down a little bit in terms of his body. Is like, look, I don't need to have that much bulk on my body. Like, it was great to be, everything that I was, and then also look like a fucking Adonis. Maybe I don't need to have all that. So he's leaned out a little bit. He got rid of some of the bulk or whatever. So maybe from that standpoint, but like otherwise, yeah, he's not going to go out there and say, you know what? No more flips. You know what I mean? No, he's going to go out there and do crazy shit all the time because he's Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
He's never going to stop.
He doesn't have to. I mean, he's over and he's good enough to not do that stuff. But I mean, we
always point out too, he does a lot less than people think.
He does a little less now, that's for sure. But I mean, the angle when he came back, he immediately did a flip off the top and nearly broke his neck on the ring apron when he hit the floor. I mean, the guy's a maniac. He can't help himself. He's really gotten the angle over because everything he's done has been so intense. Sometimes when you have feuds like this or rivalries like this, it comes off a little forced from one side or the other or both sides. But he's done a good job getting over the idea that he really wants to tear this guy apart. And it comes off authentic. And Mox has played his role of, why are you taking it personal? That sort of psychotic, look, it's my job to break your neck.
Yeah.
You're the one who put yourself in that position. He had that great line a couple weeks ago, Mox, where he said, I am not going to be held responsible for somebody else's whatever it was. It was a great line. And it's like, so you have this guy who doesn't understand why the guy whose neck he broke is so mad at him because he's a psychopath. And the other guy wanting revenge. And look, and these two have incredible chemistry. And I'm not sure if a lot of people a few years ago, they wrestled a few times in a couple multi-man matches. And they have unreal chemistry together.
I saw a live match of them that was fucking phenomenal. That Windy City, I don't know if it was a Riot or whatever the hell, New Japan USA show. Yeah. fucking great. And I was there with a casual wrestling fan, and when that was over, he was like, "Holy shit!" He's like, "Who are those guys?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, they're two of the best." I was like, "You just saw one of the best matches you'll ever see in your entire life." I mean, those guys absolutely rock. I mean, he was blown away, and he's not even a big wrestling fan. He doesn't really know. He just knew what I'm watching is fucking phenomenal, right? And I said, "Oh yeah, no, what you're watching is really, really, really good." And these guys are next level professional wrestlers. So yeah, it's man, and the Mox thing is perfect, like you said, because Moxley gets out on a level that so few people get it. He a professional wrestler. He's so much a guy that's so much other professional wrestling is, like we say, the show about professional wrestling. A wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We're all in on it. We're professionally wrestling. And yeah, we know it's fake. And we know you know it's fake. Jon Moxley's authentic as fuck. Yeah, I broke your neck. Whatever. I mean, that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm here to win matches and hurt people. Like isn't that the game? Isn't that what we're supposed to do? And it's like, yeah, you're right. That's what you're supposed to do, really.
He said you weren't cleared, but you put yourself in a lights out cage match anyway. What did you think was going to happen?
Right.
And so this feud is 100% pro wrestling, 0% bullshit. And this is the match I'm looking forward to the most.
Absolutely.
And also just from the standpoint of where they're going with all this, because again, we have Wembley happening in August. There's only about 22,000, 23,000 tickets out. They're behind the pace even of the second Wembley show.
That's, man, they sold a bunch of tickets right out of the gates, and they have just not moved at all. I always look at WrestleTix, and I'm like, man, it's still at 22. It feels like it's always at 22.
They're selling like 200 tickets a week.
Yeah.
Now, they have 4 months, and there's a lot of time between now and then, but it's got to start becoming clear what the direction is for the main event of that show. And when we talk about MJF versus Kenny Omega, I feel like that, again, I don't know who's winning that match. I don't have a good feel for it. I think it could go either way. The closing angle on Dynamite makes me think that MJF is winning now because he's shown way too much ass in the build. But I think what it comes down to, and where this relates to Will Ospreay, is what does Tony Khan think is his biggest money match? Does he think it's MJF versus Will Ospreay, or does he think it's Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay? Those are the two options.
Yeah.
So whatever Tony thinks is his biggest money match is the match you're going to get at Wembley, and that might determine the winner of the main event of this show.
Mm-hmm.
And then that person might go into August as the world champion.
It's a long time from now. That's the other thing, too. It's August 30th. I mean, it's a long time.
Almost 5 months, but it gives Will Ospreay to put the Jon Moxley feud in the rear view, whether that's on this show or whether it takes a couple more months. And now here's the thing. Everyone's kind of working under the assumption that Will Ospreay is going to main event that show, but will he? Maybe Tony thinks there's another match that is his biggest money match. But it seems to me that the smart play would be to put Will in that main event. He's bided his time for an extra 2 years now to, he lost the match to Hangman and Hangman went on to, and then he gets injured and now he's back and now they're going to Wembley again. It just makes sense that this would be the year that you give Will Ospreay the big world title push. But again, that might just be an assumption we all have that is a direction that they're not even thinking about. But if they are, what do you think's the bigger money match? That's what Tony has to decide.
Yeah.
Is it MJF or is it Kenny Omega?
Yeah, people asked me in a Q&A. I did a Q&A a couple weeks ago, and a lot of people were just like, so what do you do? What's the Wembley match or whatever? And I was like, I don't know. I think either one's fine. Honestly, I think Omega Ospreay is fine, and I think MJF Ospreay is fine. And there might be, and we're always, like you said, we're always assuming that it has to be Ospreay. They might not think that. Tony might not think that. Tony might be thinking, actually, Ospreay versus Blank is a great match for him, and Omega versus Blank is a good match, and MJF versus Blank. We don't know that just yet, but there's a lot of people saying, oh, you can't put MJF back in Wembley because the All In, the first one, and like, look, I didn't like the match.
That match was over in the building.
Yeah, it was a massively over match, and it sold a shit ton of tickets. Like, I didn't like it. I thought it stunk. But that's not
now, okay. I don't think that match sold a lot of tickets because most of the tickets were sold before.
Sure, right. But I'm just mean like it wasn't like a deterrent. I don't think like
they didn't get booed out of the building.
No, I don't like people are pretending that it's like, oh, if you book MJF in the main event of Wembley, people are going to sell their tickets and they're not going to go there. Like that's not what's going to happen. Like
people have MJF derangement.
Correct.
They really do.
They
do. But what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. But yeah, it may not be Ospreay in the card, which I think is crazy. I think you have to put him in the main event. I mean, the first Wembley show, he got arguably the biggest pop on the show. And that was 3 years ago. So, and now he's already had one neck surgery. So if you're going to push this guy, when's it going to come? Because you have guys like Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita behind him ready for pushes too. And you still have Swerve in the mix. And then you have another crop coming up behind Fletcher, and because it never stops, behind Fletcher and Takeshita, where 3-4 years from now, you're going to have your Kevin Knights or whoever else gets over. So this is kind of Will Ospreay's window right now. You can't wait much longer. So that doesn't mean he has to beat Moxley on Sunday.
Oh, no, I think quite the opposite. I think, honestly, I would almost lock in him not beating Jon Moxley and then going into the Owen tournament, winning the Owen, and then kind of starting his momentum that way.
Yeah, we have 4 months to get there.
Right.
I mean, he doesn't, he's not even crossing paths with world title scenarios yet. So I'm just looking forward to the match. This is an intriguing card to me because Andrade Darby, Moxley Will Ospreay, MJF Kenny Omega. I don't know where they're going with any of this shit, and I really would prefer not to even try to work it out. I'm gonna enjoy the fuck out of this show, just from the standpoint of where are these finishes going and where are each of these guys moving after this show? What are the directions all of these guys are moving in? Very curious. And then, I have Swerve on the sideline for this one. He's always going to be in the mix to some degree.
Hangman still looming there somewhere.
Figure out what they're going to do with Hangman when he comes back from selling the he's going to want some kind of revenge on MJF. Now, he can't go for the title. And I'm curious if they figure out a way to botch that. That's going to be a mistake if they undo that, at least for many years. I mean, they should keep that stip. So there's a lot of interesting moving parts coming out of this show in terms of what directions the top guys will be moving in as we inch towards Wembley.
Other match that, since we just talked about MJF and Omega, the only other match on the show that we have not talked about is the AEW World Tag Team titles, FTR versus Cage and Cope. And I'm going to give it a chance. It's FTR in their current iteration, so I am very hopeful, but I am always scared about Cope. You never know if Cope's gonna do Cope things, so I will watch it with my hands over my eyes and peeking through my fingers to see what it's gonna be. But I am hopeful because FTR is great.
I'm worried about the angle last night though, because if it's Cage just coming in with a weak arm and then FTR works over his arm for 15 minutes, they'll be great at that, and that will probably be excellent. If it's Cage in a sling and it's like Cope versus FTR, that's too gimmicky for me. It's if they go too story heavy with it, where it's like 2 versus 1, and Cage really is of no use because his arm is just complete. Then that's just so I want to see how much that arm being Pillmanized last night. It's obviously going to be the story of the match, but I want to know to what extent.
Right. Would be completely.
I want to know to what extent.
Is there out? Is that his arm's going to be completely worthless, and Copeland's going to have to try like hell to beat these guys 1-on-2, and then of course not going to do it. Like they're going to, if that's your idea, is that we want FTR to win, but they can't just beat Cage and Cope. I mean, these are 2 absolute legends, so we have to do, that is a worry too. Or like you said, Cage comes in, and I'd be fine with that if Cage comes in and it's like, oh yeah, well we know that his arm's a little tender, and then
right.
FTR methodically works over his arm and that ultimately ends up being the finish. That's okay, but yeah,
and if we get the Midnight Express working over Ricky Morton for 15 minutes and build into a hot tag, that'll probably be really good. I just don't want it. I as long as it's rooted in that sort of way, and it's not some over the top dramatic story match, which with Cope is always a danger.
Always a danger. Yeah. And do you see a scenario where Cage and Cope win the titles?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course they could win. Of course they could win. What Tony Khan did here
with Beth. Maybe Beth will make her return and help Cage and Cope. I mean, that's probably what they're going to do, right? If Cage and Cope do win this match, Beth will come back and get her revenge on FTR, and that will be the reason these men win.
Does she need revenge? I don't even remember.
Yes, that's all out. Remember, they gave her the pile driver, and then when Cope he cut that promo a couple weeks ago, where he almost went to that place. He didn't go to that place, but he almost went to that place. And I was like, oh, get this man away from a spotlight and a chair, because he is really close to finding a stool and a spotlight. But he said, when you did what you did to my wife, the woman, the mother of my children, like, I'll never forget. So yeah, I think Beth will be there. I think she's going to be involved in some way.
So what Tony did is he peaked 3 of his top stars that all happen to be Canadian for this Canadian pay-per-view. He talked about how he and Jericho spoke last year about, hey, look, if you do come back, Jericho wanted to come back in Winnipeg and then do Vancouver and then do the pay-per-view in Winnipeg, and then where were they last night? They're in Vancouver for the pay-per-view. They were in Winnipeg, Edmonton. You want to come back in Winnipeg, then do Edmonton, then do the whole Western Canadian swing. He said that was Jericho's idea. He said at the end of the day, Jericho wanted to come back to AEW. He wanted it to work out that way, and he wanted to come back starting with the Winnipeg date. So, this has been in the cards for months. Chris Jericho working this pay-per-view. Kenny Omega headlining for the world title, also from Western Canada, headlining a pay-per-view in Western Canada for the world title, and bringing back Cope and Cage to face FTR when they're in Canada. Now, those guys are from Toronto, but Canada, you get the idea. So you're peaking 3.
In wrestling, Canada is kind of all Canada, which is really weird because we would never do that in America. We wouldn't be like, MJF is finally home in Seattle, but in Canada, it's like, it's all of it. That's just kind of, for some reason, wrestling is that way, where despite the fact that Toronto and Vancouver couldn't be further from each other, it's like, but I agree, you're not wrong.
There's still Canadian fans who have pride in the fact that Cope and Cage are Canadian.
Right.
So he peaked and these are the top 3 matches on the card. And he peaked, I guess Moxley and Ospreay, but he peaked these 3 matches and these 3 Canadian acts to headline this specific show in Canada. So, I mean, no, it would not be surprising at all if Cope and Christian won the titles here. It wouldn't be surprising if Omega won the title. And then with Omega MJF, I know we talked about it a little, but it's funny because I do think that this match is going to draw. Obviously, the tickets are doing very well. I think it's going to do very well on pay-per-view. I think Kenny Omega has kind of reached a legend status in AEW. He has kind of elevated beyond just being one of the top stars to someone who, when he's around, people see him as a legend. And I haven't been thrilled with the build to this match. I think it's been a mediocre build. I don't think it's been bad. I don't think it's been great.
Yeah, MJF and Kenny.
MJF and Kenny.
Yeah.
I think it's been a mediocre build. I don't think it's been anything special. I like the story. The story is Kenny Omega is totally nonplussed with MJF's bullshit. He's like, we've both been here since the beginning. I know all your tricks. You're not going to get under my skin. I know everything you're going to try. Last night, he got the better of MJF before MJF could get the better of him. He took the ring from him. And he's just this calm presence. Like, I know I'm better than you. I know I'm the god of pro wrestling, the god versus the devil and all this. And I know I'm going to beat you for the title. And he's just been calm about it. He hasn't been roped into MJF's shenanigans or hijinks or anything. So I like the story they've told. I just don't think it's been any kind of incredible build. I think MJF has had at least a half a dozen programs that felt hotter than this one.
Oh, God,
going into a pay-per-view.
Oh, God, yes.
But it's weird because I do think it's going to do well. I do think it's going to do well because I think Kenny has kind of elevated to this higher plane of legend in the company. And if he comes back and does something, AEW fans take notice and they're going to care a lot.
Well, it's a big-time fucking match, too. It's MJF and Kenny Omega.
He's going for the world title.
Yeah.
And he's going for the world title. His promo last night, I thought it had no energy. And he's always kind of a weirdo, but it was like
goofy promo. He's always a goofy promo. He's always weird. It
was this weird promo with no energy where he kind of lost his train of thought a couple times, but the crowd was very polite because it's an AEW crowd. It's in Canada, and it's Kenny Omega, and he gets a pass. He gets a pass. He can have a promo like that because they accept that he's a fucking weirdo and that he's always going to be a little awkward. But you can't give him a mic that long. He doesn't have the ability to cut a good promo that long. But it doesn't matter anymore because it's Kenny Omega. And AEW has reached a point where they're starting to have their own legends. And he's one of them. He might be the only one. But like they're starting to have their own legends in this company. So he gets a pass. He could have mediocre promos. He could have a mediocre build to a pay-per-view match, and it could still feel huge. Because Kenny Omega going for a world title. After maybe people thought they'd never see that again with the diverticulitis. Mm-hmm. So, it's the match. It's the weirdest thing because I don't think the build has been anything special, but the match still feels huge.
I think one thing that I like about the build is they resisted the temptation to go into the Kenny is a feeble little man, and if you touch him in the stomach, he's going to die. And MJF tried to. MJF's saying, "Oh, if I touch you in the stomach, you're going to die." And Kenny's just like, "Shut the fuck up, dude. I'm fine." Like,
yeah.
Which
and
I
then
like.
They had the doctor say that too. The doctor
right. Because they did that a lot. They've done that like 4 times with Kenny, where he when he would get written out of television, we'd have because it felt like there was like 3 times where we had Kenny on the stretcher bleeding from the mouth. You know what I mean? Like that was people were like, really? Again, we're doing the Kenny bleeding from the mouth thing. And I got really worried when MJF's like, I know something you don't know, Kenny. Like your stomach's a mess. Like blah, 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 blah. And I really liked that. Yeah. Kenny was just like, I'm fine, dude. What are you talking about? And the doctor's like, no, he's fine. And like, I appreciate that because it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like that, because that temptation to do that story again. And to build it up for Sunday, where like MJF hits him in the stomach with a bat, and it's like, oh my God, Kenny's stomach is going to explode, and he's not going to be there. Yeah, right. They didn't do that, and I like that. They didn't resist the temptation to go to that level, and it's a very normal build like that. And I think that's maybe we're not used to these kind of builds in wrestling anymore, but I kind of like it that it's just 2 guys, one guy with a lot of confidence, and one guy who. Like we always say with MJF, and somehow nobody ever gets it, one guy who pretends he has a lot of confidence, but deep down is very uncommon. And that's why he says, oh, Kenny, you got this wrong with you, and that wrong with you, and that wrong with you. And I'd have nothing wrong with me, and I'm perfect. And yeah, we all know that that's, facade. MJF's a total facade. And Kenny sees right through it. Kenny's like, I know the game's man. You're not going to play me. I'm nonplussed by all your bullshit.
And that's part of the reason he was so calm throughout his whole promo, but the thing is, he's always like that. So he just came off sleepy and unenergetic.
And I get that.
And then MJF came out, and I didn't think he was at his best last night either, promo-wise. But they got the point across by the end of it, and Kenny was standing tall. He had the ring. I just think it's all a little too heavy-handed in Kenny's favor, which tells me that MJF is probably winning.
I would bet. If I was a betting man, I would bet MJF wins.
Look, if you put the proverbial gun to my head and said, what's the finish going to be? I would think that MJF will find a way to out-coax Kenny and cheat him out of the match. Because that's what MJF does. And, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if Kenny wins the title here. Not at all. It wouldn't stun me at all if they do a title switch. And if Kenny holds it all the way to Wembley, because I think that, again, he's like an icon of this company now.
And have we had a proper Kenny world title reign that wasn't during the pandemic?
He had a heel one.
Yeah, he had the heel one. He had the heel one during the pandemic, during the belt collector, but we really haven't had like a proper.
Well, Mox was the champ during the pandemic. I think you're mixing up the timeline. Let's look that up. Let's look it up. I think that Mox was predominantly the champion.
But then Kenny did beat him though at it was still Kenny still was there during the pandemic doing the belt collector stuff. I know for a fact.
And the TNA run where he was TNA was definitely during the pandemic because there were no crowds for his shows.
So Kenny won it December 2nd, 2020. So right in the midst still. And he held that thing until November of 2021. So absolutely. Moxley had it at the beginning of the pandemic. He won it in February of 2020 and then dropped it in December. So Moxley had the early pandemic and Kenny had the last breath of the pandemic.
Mox had the no crowds.
Right. Kenny got, by December.
Kenny got crowds.
Kenny got little crowds. I'm watching some of those shows now.
He had it into 2021, right?
Yeah.
On the back end, he had crowds.
Back end, he had crowds for sure.
Yeah. it was Mox that got screwed with the no crowd title reign, the first one.
Yes, he wins the title at Revolution, and like a week later, it all goes to hell. So
he just has nothing. He's wrestling like empty arena matches in Daly's Place every week, trying his best. Yeah, and Kenny was a heel during that reign, and he did. I think because part of that was he was TNA World Champion too.
Yeah,
because those matches with like Rich Swann and people like that. And those matches on Impact, remember he was popping those numbers for Impact on Axis. Those were all pandemic era, no fans.
Right, that was winter 2021, like the early of 2021. But yeah, by the summer things started to cool off a little bit, and he was able to, obviously get in the crowds. And then fall, the crowds were fully back by fall of 2021. But yeah, so he hasn't had like that proper in front of a crowd babyface title reign either. So that gives you some credence if you want to say, hey, if you want to have Kenny get that last run, that'd be a good time. And I'm fully in favor, and I've talked about this. During the early days of AEW, they were very big on long title reigns. Kenny had that thing for 346 days, and Moxley had it for 277 days or whatever. But they've bounced the title back and forth a little bit. MJF had it for 406, but lately, and I think that's okay. MJF's had this title for 103 days now. That's fine. If he loses it here, like some people see this at, we've trained a whole new generation of fans to think that these title reigns all have to be very long because there was a time period between Roman Reigns and then Cody and AEW and MJF and Kenny that these things have to be forever. They don't have to be that long. I mean, MJF's had this title since World's End in December. It's okay if he loses it here in April.
Yeah, I mean, he could lose. I would prefer we go back to long title reigns. I like long title reigns more than bouncing titles around. I think titles mean more if you have long reigns. I'm not opposed to quickie switches for shock value or to tell a story or something like that. I'm not against that. But I would like them to get back to longer title reigns, though. I think that's more healthy for the promotion and to get your titles over. But you're right in that we've seen some shorter title reigns in AEW. There's this perception that everyone holds the title forever. That's just not true.
I also think too that to your point of like, oh, we have too many, we need to have longer title reigns, or maybe you prefer longer title reigns. I would argue 103 days is a long title reign. I think we got tripped up by the Attitude Era where titles would switch every fucking week.
So stupid.
Right.
I mean, that drove me away.
Yeah. No, and I think there's a healthy medium between 400 days or 700 days as champion and 2 hours as champion. And the problem is, for a lot of years, it was 2 hours as champion was the the way it was being done. Every week there was a new world champion or whatever, a new WWF tag team champion every fucking episode of Raw or whatever. That shit sucks, and that shit should never come back ever. But I also think that 100 days, 200 days, that's fine. To me, that's a long reign.
It's not a short reign. Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's 100
December to April isn't that, I don't know.
Here's the thing, though. MJF's doing great as champion.
That's the other problem. Is it's not like you're trying to get the title off of MJF right now. I mean, he's great.
Business is good.
Yeah.
He's performing well, but more meaningful than that, business is doing well. On that Coach and Bro podcast, of course, because it's Coach and Bro, and the mindset of them and their listeners, they said, well, bro, the first Dynamite did 1.4 million viewers, and then by week 2, you lost half of them, bro.
Oh, my God.
All of that stuff, just
idiots.
Listen, it's just the typical. Rich, they played all the hits. I mean, maybe you should go listen to this thing.
No.
Because they really did play all the hits. They didn't do the you don't tell stories, bro. I thought they would, but they didn't do that one. But Tony pointed out, he said, the way they're calculating ratings now, we're doing as many viewers now as we were doing. He cited the specific week. It was like week 6 of Dynamite or something. He's like, if you really look at it, we're doing as many viewers now as we were doing like whatever number he gave. So they're doing well. Now, you can talk about big panel plus data and everything else, but the numbers are what they are. You see the attendances are doing better than they've been doing. They're doing positive business. They're not blowing up and they're not red hot, but there's clearly the arrows pointing up.
Yeah, I was going to say, there was a nosedive happening for a while, but they've pulled the plane up.
Yeah,
No
and
doubt about it.
MJF's a big part of that. And look, his title reign is working, and he's performing well on TV. His promos, his matches, his pay-per-view numbers. So there's that aspect too. Do you want to cut this short in service of whatever long-term story you're telling, or do you want to pivot? It's so interesting. Does Kenny keep that going? Can he be on TV every week? There's a million questions to ask. I think it's a coin flip match. I think either guy winning is valid, and I think there's strong arguments to support either person winning the match. And again, to sound like a broken record, it's why I'm so intrigued by this pay-per-view, because there's so many big matches on this show where I don't know where the fuck they're going. And I'm okay with either of the. I don't think there's a match on this show where I'm like, this is going to be a mistake if they do this. And that's what's so fun and interesting about this pay-per-view.
And I think most AEW pay-per-views too. I think we end up more times than not having these same discussions after, before an AEW pay-per-view, and that's really fun. And that's what brings me back to my actual, reason why I watch this shit and my fandom is going to turning on a pay-per-view and saying, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm fascinated to see what does happen. And there's going to be so many things to talk about when it's like, that is what I love about previewing these shows. And that's why I think AEW pay-per-views, not only, in ring, bell to bell, almost always deliver, but it's just always you go in pretty much not knowing the result of a lot of the matches. And that's a good thing. And I like that. And like you said, I almost like not trying to figure it out in my head and not trying to, we would do the G1 math every single year and then be like, just look at the last day. All right, it's going to be this guy and this guy and this guy or whatever. You know what I mean? It would suck. And we do that. With these AEW reviews, it never feels that way for me. It never feels like I know what's going to happen, and it never feels like I really. We lay out all these different scenarios, and then we're like, I don't know, we'll find out. We'll find out Sunday, and there's something about that. I don't know. It's just intriguing to me, and it brings me back, not childlike, but it brings me back to just an era where, I didn't feel like here we go. It's going to do this. They're going to do this. They're going to do this or whatever. I don't know. I don't know who's going to win half these matches, and frankly, I don't care because I think either direction is going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be very interesting to talk about.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward. I mean, there's been some AEW pay-per-views where it's like, okay, I know the pay-per-view is probably going to be really good because they always are, right? Like 80% of these pay-per-views have been really good. 10% have been okay, and 10% I haven't liked in the history of the company, right? Like roughly those percentages. So odds are it's going to be really good, but I wasn't looking forward to the pay-per-view for whatever reason. My investment in the company wasn't as high. A lot of the Brochacho era stuff, whatever the case may be. Maybe I wasn't thrilled with some of the people in the main event matches. Even though I knew, okay, on Saturday or Sunday, I'm going to be thoroughly entertained and the show's going to be good, I wasn't looking forward to it. This show I'm legitimately looking forward to. I'm excited to watch this show. And probably more so than any AEW pay-per-view I could think of maybe the last 5 or 6 times out. I really am looking forward to this as a wrestling fan, while also understanding that since it's an AEW pay-per-view, it's probably going to be really good.
Yeah.
And just looking at this on paper, I don't think it's going to feel bloated like a lot of them do.
No, I hope that they don't stuff this one anymore with a bunch of other matches. I honestly, if this is the match layout, I'm fine with it.
They have 8. They have the stupid casino gauntlet we didn't talk about.
You know why it doesn't feel so bloated? There's not an anarchy in the arena and a cage.
A stipulation on everything.
And a fucking no holds barred between Willow and it's just like, no, it's just a bunch of wrestling matches, with titles on the line sometimes.
Usually, nearly every match has a stipulation. On this show, nothing has a stipulation.
Right. And it's very refreshing.
And it's very refreshing. I think you just nailed it. I think that's why I'm looking at this lineup and I'm not thinking, oh man, this might be kind of a slog by hour 3. Because does Vancouver have blood rules of some type? Maybe that's why.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm just throwing things out there because this is very un-Tony-like to not have any stipulations. He gimmicks everything up.
Right. It's nice.
And this is not gimmicked up at all. And the other thing is there's a lot of just singles matches, man. There's a lot of they're just singles matches. and a couple of tags. That's it. And then the dopey battle royal, which he didn't want to book. He had to book that. The guy got hurt. What are you going to do? I guess you don't have to do a casino gauntlet, but it wouldn't have been on the show is my point. Kyle Fletcher would have been doing something
and those don't feel as exhaustive as, to me, honestly, the casino gauntlet doesn't feel as exhaustive as 5 different matches where people hit each other with weapons. Right. That exhausts me.
Right.
That I don't want to see. We want tables. And we go, here we go, another table. It's like, here we go, another kendo stick. Like, that's the shit that infuriates me.
Or a casino gauntlet or a blackjack battle royal or whatever on top of all of that, too. This is just a battle royal and everything else is just a match.
Yeah.
So the battle royal will kind of stand out as your multi-man, people getting their shit in match, while everything else is kind of just a match. There's a lot of titles on the line. Because, they have 1,000 fucking titles.
Yeah, they have a lot of them. So even then, there's not that many. There's a couple matches that are just matches. Jericho and Ricochet.
There's actually 3 matches on this show that aren't for a title.
Which is another
AEW pay-per-view.
Again, another thing that stands out about it. Yeah.
That loosens up and makes it. It just doesn't feel like a pay-per-view that's going to be bloated.
Some of them are so weighty and so bloated. Like you said, it's like everything's a title match. Everything's a gimmick. And it's like sometimes it's like Andrade and Darby Allin just go in there and wrestle. The Young Bucks and Don Callis just wrestle, the Don Callis family just wrestle.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It reminds me, this doesn't remind me of that, but because Tony will never book his shows this way. But around 1990, 1991, that era of WCW, their pay-per-views would be like 5 or 6 random ass singles matches and then the business end of the show. Do you remember that era, like 90, 91?
Oh, yeah.
And matches that had no build, just be like these random. Like here's Tommy Rich versus Harley Race for some reason. We don't know the reason, but here it is. And you'd have like 3 or 4, and I didn't mind that. Like it was a different era. You couldn't get away with that now, but there's nothing wrong with just having singles matches, like Darby and Andrade. It has stakes. It's just single, but it has an important stake because
I
it's the
remember
contender match.
Halloween Havoc 1990 was the one I pulled it up too. It's so great. It was the ones that I remember because there was a couple matches that were really good. The opener was Tommy Rich and Ricky Morton versus the Midnight Express, which was good. Then there was Terry Taylor versus Bill Irwin. Then it was Brad Armstrong versus JW Storm, and then the Master Blasters versus the Southern Boys. But they would always have a bunch of these like. The openers would just be just like, all right, it's that guy. They're fighting.
Yeah. Here's the one
Great American Bash. Mike Rotunda versus Iron Sheik. Brian Pillman versus Buddy Landell. Doug Furness versus Dutch Mantel. Harley Race versus Tommy Rich. That's the one that you mentioned right there.
That's
Great American Bash 1990.
Harley Race versus Tommy Rich. Yeah. And those 4 matches didn't have any build.
No.
It was just 4 matches. And I'm pretty sure that that's the show where Harley Race returned from WWF. And he still had his purple King Harley Race tights with the little crown on them. The ones he wore.
Yes, yeah, of course. Race. Yeah.
And Jim Ross goes, I heard Harley Race locking up with Tommy Rich. He must be a fan of the Sacramento Kings.
That's good.
Fucking Jim Ross, Sacramento Kings. Because they're purple, too.
It's perfect. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah. And then you had the business end. Then you had the Midnights versus the Southern Boys for the U.S. titles. Steiners versus the Freebirds. Luger versus fucking Mean Mark Undertaker. And, Sting versus Flair, obviously, in the main event. And Doom versus the Rock and Roll Express. But the first half of that show, it was just matches, man. And people would lose their fucking mind if you tried that now.
Oh, God, you can't do that. No. Yeah, if you just had, like, AR Fox versus...
right, yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's like AR Fox versus Nick Wayne for no reason.
Right.
No build.
It's just AR Fox walks out. You're like, what?
It just announces it the day of the show.
Yeah.
And it's just they just have a match.
I actually would rock. Yeah, I'm just thinking that. Awesome. A random ass AR Fox. But yeah, the pundits, the podcasters would have a fucking meltdown.
They just do Bobby Lashley versus Mark Davis for no reason whatsoever. Just send them out there. That's the energy.
It's 7 minutes long. It's 7 minutes long.
Yeah, 7
and Bobby
minutes.
Lashley just wins, and then he goes to the back, and that's it. There's no story, no just like
no follow up.
Nope.
they like it never happens. Like you just like it never. They just had a match to have a match. Queen Aminata versus Layla Gray. They just send them out there.
Just send them out there.
That's it.
Roderick Strong just beats Wheeler Yuta in 9 minutes and 11 seconds with the backbreaker.
Yeah, just go out there and grapple. That's all. Yep. Yeah, it's the backbreaker.
It just wins.
Yes.
Walks to the back and.
No. And this is what I mean when I say Tony tells too many stories. Like everything has a fucking story. You know, it's does everything have to have a story? That brings up the question.
No.
You know, would the House of Cards collapse if these promotions did a couple matches that didn't have a story? I don't think it would. I think it would be a shock to some people's system at first. But is an AEW fan going to stop watching AEW because the pay-per-view opener is just a match? If it's a good match?
No, the only people that would care are podcasters and pundits or whatever that would pretend that matters and you need to tell stories.
That it was the end of the world because, we sent two guys.
Because Roddy beat Wheeler Yuta in 7 minutes with a backbreaker. It's the end of the world.
Because Mascara Dorada had a match with Commander that, didn't have a build.
What's the story? No build. Yeah, who cares? It's just a wrestling match.
Fucking prelim match. Who gives a shit? Anyway, this card does not feel bloated, yet everything feels very meaningful. And I am very much looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
So that is AEW Dynasty. We have Instant Reaction live on Sunday, immediately following the show. It'll be a very busy week for us. And we just did a 3-hour podcast, Rich Craich.
Yes, we did. So I think we're right up against it here at 250.
And we got a lot of stuff to get to.
We have to preview WrestleMania, which you may have heard.
Yes.
It's coming up next weekend.
Kind of a big set of shows.
The granddaddy of them all, the showcase of the Immortals, a celebration of life, the 42nd anniversary of WrestleMania, or whatever Michael Cole's going to say. We got that to preview. We got to review NXT Stand and Deliver.
Yeah.
We have to review New Japan Sakura Genesis. I think it is time to bring back the Overrun. So, okay.
I think it warrants an overrun. We can't do any of that in 10 minutes.
No. Or a half hour. Or we smash it all together in a half hour. Because we do go 3:30 sometime. I don't think we can smash all that shit in a half hour. That's not good.
No, that's not going to work out.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. If you are new here, if you're new to the $10 tier, you're listening live, just stay on the line. Stay right there. Keep the YouTube open. We are going to take a quick break, and we will be right back with the Overrun. Now, if you are listening on the free podcast feed, the show is going to end, and the WrestleMania preview, Sakura Genesis review, and NXT Stand and Deliver review will be available on the $5 tier at flagshippatreon.com. The Overrun on the $5 tier at flagshippatreon.com. That is where you're going to hear the rest of the show. So again, if you're live listening right now on the $10 tier, just hang in there. We'll be back in a little bit. For everybody else, we're going to bid you adieu, and we'll be there on the $5 tier on the Overrun, flagshippatreon.com. So take a quick break, and we'll be right back with WrestleMania preview, Stand and Deliver review, and Sakura Genesis review.
Hello, do you like New Japan Pro Wrestling? Are you a Shin Nihon freak? If so, check out the Super J-Cast with Joel and Damon on the Voices of Wrestling podcast network.
And even if you fucking hate New Japan Pro Wrestling, listen to the Super J-Cast anyway. Not just for our great show reviews, analysis, and pastrami sandwiches, but there's also usually some dick jokes somewhere in the obligatory opening 30 minutes of absolute nonsense we chat about every single week. That's the Super J-Cast for all the best talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling, crisps, and pornography.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did you have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.